crazy.
Hello, and welcome to Zaxria. We are back for another night at the Nas Round Table. Thank you for tuning in, and if you are, make sure you're following so you can put in the giveaway once we reach 100. I think we're about 20 people away, so make sure you're following, let people know to follow. Once we get to 100, we are giving away the most recent D&D book. So whatever it is at that time, we will get it sent to you if you win the giveaway. If you're subscribing at that point, you get it before a giveaway for a custom mini from Hero Forge. Also, make sure you check out our YouTube. There are VODs all the way up to episode 92 and some podcasts and other RPG stuff on there. So, last we left off, you guys made your way to Venore from Arcanoria in order to pretty much see exactly what was going on over here. Immediately coming here, you could see that it was just this dense smoke and fog. There were pretty much shouts and cries going out, people running around frantically, trying to defend and prepare from whatever was occurring. Even how far south you were from where this battle you're assuming is taking place, there is still a very dense amount of smoke to where it's hard to see through sometimes, and you find yourself kind of intermittently coughing just from the environment that you're in. The more north you push, the more you seem to encounter and run into and see. There are bodies covered in ash and soot all over the place. There are trees fallen over and charred and burnt. You're starting to see that more as you're pushing through here, and you ran into this small little section where you could see there was almost this group of elven individuals, guards and villagers alike, that were just kind of huddled up around trees and kind of tucked down, trying to regroup and just make sense of everything that was going on around them. In doing so and trying to attempt to get to the village of Oakyear, you ran into this sort of fray that was occurring, or had started to occur once you arrived. These blood demons were just running through just rampantly with no sort of mission other than to just kill whatever they see in front of them. You also encountered two of these heavy armored tiefling individuals, kind of burly size. They seem to have some sort of military expertise by the way they carried themselves. And just the two that you saw had some blood demons with them, and you guys were able to easily kind of fight and get rid of those two. You started to push further north after assisting Silamira, who was the village leader of the Oakyear kind of small village that was here. And he is kind of heading his way back to let them know that, shit is a lot worse up here than they thought it was, and to send more help. Where you have started to push through, Ander has been kind of fighting his own battle while you guys are crossing through here. It seems that Azrael was also dealing with it some way, but was able to resist the effects. You kept seeing this red eye popping up in the smoke, and then sets of smaller kind of orange pairs of eyes that you now believe to be these hellhounds that are in front of you and have charged at you. You can see that they are just this huge, muscly kind of form. They probably stand off the ground close to 6 feet on all four legs, so they are huge. They're pretty long. They don't have a spot of fur on them. They are just covered in this muscly sinew. You can see blood dripping from not just their body, but from their mouths as well, as if they've just had a fresh kill, and are now dead set focused on Ander. They all jumped forward, bursting flames out from their mouth at Ander here. And I forgot to have, Chelonia rolled and saved from it, I believe. So from that, we are going to roll initiative. I'm going to change this.
Good. I got to roll for Connor too. Okay. Okay, +3.
Anybody above 20? What you got?
27.
From Ultron? 20 to 15.
Connor also got 18.
18?
16.
18.
You're faster.
That's 16?
18.
I got 16.
Oh.
He got 18. But he has more dex than Connor.
Got it.
More dex than everyone. The most dexterous human alive.
Except for
Actually,
Dex Master
I'm
9000.
not yet.
Yeah, he's in the woods.
Doesn't
You
exist.
don't know about
I'll
Text
kill him.
Master 9000?
I've already killed
What
him.
did
He
you
doesn't
win
exist
in
anymore.
20
I've dexed him.
We'll
It's
see.
crazy.
We'll see.
He's Dex
Oh, you
Master
got eight, you
9000,
got
but he
seven.
only has like 6 dex.
It's my next PC. Dex Master 9000.
40 decks. 0 and everything.
All right. Starting it off, Moldrak, you are up. You can see
How
right
did you
now.
do it?
You want to flip to the combat scene too? I think
Yeah.
it should be working
Okay. Yeah.
to some degree.
Yeah, it's a little, I don't know.
I
This is
might
like,
be able to turn this light to yellow. It might help.
it's just a little dark, or maybe zooming it in.
Don't touch it.
That's the new camera.
Oh, is it? Touch it.
Is there a remote
Whack.
for it?
It doesn't work very well.
That's pretty good.
Better.
Oh, yeah, that's way better.
I didn't
Okay,
that's
realize
fine.
that the difference between those red lights
So-
and the fucking.
Right now, through these smoke clouds, you guys have kind of found yourselves into, like, you can easily kind of traverse outside of this, but this is just kind of like this choke point of trees that started pushing in this direction. That's just a lot of smoke over here. A little bit of embers burning and everything. You can see stuff attached to the trees, but jumping from those smoke clouds and focus on Ander, it was very obvious to see Ander starting to like scurry backwards and attempt to pretty much get away from them at this point. Jump right down in front of you, and it's like they don't even really see you there. They just start chomping and blowing this like fire breath out towards Ander in front
Okay.
of you.
But they attacked you before we left last time.
Okay, and am I
Did
my
like 6
base
damage.
like right next to Ander?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, I'm gonna try and. We don't have any. Was there like time between fights where we were?
You were just running pretty much.
Okay.
There was no like rest or anything.
All right. I just mean like spells would be gone.
Oh, like had worn off?
Yeah. Okay. All right. I'm gonna cast Rock Bite Enhancement.
Okay. I think this is gone too. Cause
Yeah.
we've got more
No more haste.
the resist on Connor.
Oh yeah. All right. I'm gonna take 2 attacks.
All right.
First one's a natural 20.
Nice.
Second one is a 32.
Hits.
Okay, I only get 2 attacks because I used my 2.
Jeremy, go see if they're barking at.
Quit first. 8, 16. Plus the D8. He needs to make a strength save.
Okay.
I'm going to take. Can I hit the one directly in front of Ander too? If I attacked multiple?
You could probably run around behind them
Okay.
if you wanted to do that.
Yeah, sure.
That way you're in range of both of them.
Uh-huh. Alright, so for the... that's a 1. 16 plus 2, 18. Plus 9, 27 for the crit.
Okay.
And then did he roll strength save?
Yeah, it was only an 8.
Okay, so he's prone.
This one.
Yeah, I'm prone too, I guess. And the second one in the middle there
Okay.
also needs to make a strength save.
20.
Okay, he succeeds. He's going to take 16 points of bludgeoning damage.
16.
Yeah. And
It's attached in there somewhere. A pile of shit.
I'm just going to drink a healing potion really quick as well. So we can move on. Just a regular superior.
This guy.
2, 6.
Got like the TLDR stuff written, but
6. 12,
like the Bible college.
18, 19, 27 health. Okay, I regained 27 health, Billy.
Okay.
I guess I just need to know if it's an action or a bonus action.
Just gonna send it to you on Discord.
This one.
Okay. So the first one, as you're running by, you kind of like reach over and slam into the side of the hellhound, and you can just feel the hard muscle that you slam into. It causes this like kind of thud and also squish sound. As you pull the hammer back, you can see blood just kind of coagulated, dripping off of it from the rock crumbling and just kind of adhering to it. As it falls over onto its side, just kind of lets out a light growl, and then you jump over to the other one and try to slam into its side, and you feel it pretty solid on the ground where it hits. And even after you hitting it, it's still focused on Ander.
Oh, okay, here's our stock. Okay.
Okay, Ander, you are up, and you are frightened. You can only spend your turn running away from these creatures.
Can I dodge?
I don't know. I think it's...
You can use the dash.
Well, I think with fear you can like
And dodge
avoid
action?
harm.
Disadvantage on attack rolls. Disadvantage on ability rolls. Cannot willingly move closer to the source of fear.
Okay, yeah, so you're right. My bad.
Any
I was
movement
thinking
away.
of Shab's turn demon thing. Yeah, so you're good. You just
You can take your turn.
disadvantage, and then, yeah, you can dodge. You can still attack. Yeah. No, yeah, you can take your turn normally. You just have the disadvantage on attacks,
You can't move closer.
and you can't move closer to it.
Any movement has to be away from them.
Oh, I should stop.
Yeah, I'm just gonna dodge. If you dodge and run away, are the attacks a disadvantage?
Yours?
I think so.
Theirs?
What?
Opportunity attacks for
If you dodge and run away, are they?
Yeah, they would be. That's why a dodge is there also.
all attacks.
And you can disengage also.
I think Radiant will do anything with these
Yeah, but-
hellhounds.
They're still gonna all attack me.
If you disengage, you don't provoke opportunity attacks.
Yeah, but they're all gonna attack me when I.
Run away.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna dodge, then run 20 feet away.
Which way?
Towards
20 or 25?
Sardex. It was Arborex.
I thought you had 25 feet movement.
25. I guess I could just run 25. I don't know why I've turned 20.
This way?
Yeah.
You just start tumbling down to the ground. They instantly kind of jump at you. I'm just going to go left to right here, so it's a straight roll because they have advantage on attacks against you.
The one knocked down would have disadvantage.
Thank you.
And also the middle one, as it goes to snap at Ander, I'm going to use my reaction to attack him.
Okay. So the first one is going to be a, excuse me,
Should still hit.
bite.
It's a
22 to hit you. The first one.
22 to hit you as well, and he needs to make a strength saving throw if it hits.
Please, both of you do 22 damage. They're really cool. I don't think the hellhounds are
Takes
capable.
7 points of piercing damage and 7 points of fire, half to 3. So 10 total damage. Because you have the resistance, right?
Mhm.
What was it to hit the...
22.
That hits for sure.
Okay. So strength save.
19?
Okay. He succeeds. He takes 12, 4. He takes 16 points of blood.
Did you get to roll in fear at the end of this turn?
No.
I think normally
Normally you
Fear
would.
and frightened? Are there two different things?
No, they're the
Synonyms.
yeah.
Oh, okay. Just make sure.
And how much damage was it? I'm sorry, Duluth.
I think I said 16. 3, 4, 9. Yeah, 16. Let's do
Next.
yeah, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay, so the first one hit. Second one, straight roll. Natural one. Third one,
This one.
25.
Disadvantage, isn't it?
No.
He went his left to right.
Oh, okay.
Right, yeah, I
That
went
makes
that one, that one, that one. So the
Makes
last
sense.
one's a 25 to hit.
It's
Take 12 points of piercing damage. And 11 fire half to 5. Also, I forgot that they have this bestial ability.
Don't forget.
Deal an additional die of damage per hound. So you're just taking.
what got fucked last time. It seemed like they were weak. That makes sense.
5. So it's 12 additional piercing damage from the bite. They start chomping at you as you're jumping away. The one on the ground actually catches your ankle a little bit and causes you to fall. The one in the middle, Moldrak just kind of slams his body into it along with the hammer, pushing it away from you as it tries to like chomp out. It chomps and blood kind of splatters out and hits over towards your back. And then the other one bites and grabs pretty much the scruff of your jacket and pierces through it a little bit to where you hear the ripping of the jacket as well as the teeth piercing into your back. You falling forward and rolling, getting covered in kind of ash and soot at this point. It's covering the side of your face now. You can feel blood dripping from your back and near your ankle. That's your turn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Connor's up, and then Moldrak. Nope, not
I was
Moldrak.
gonna say you can give me a second.
Zarbrax.
I'll take it.
I just saw the A and the K look like an X.
Yeah.
And then Zar.
Okay, and with his Phase of the Stars, he has Quicken spell, Subtle spell, and Persistent spell. Alright, I'm just going to. Connor's going to kind of take a step towards the tree there and kind of use some of the roots for hopefully a little bit of cover.
Okay.
And he's going to cast a Lunitari's Light cantrip.
1, 2, 3.
Probably the one in the middle.
Okay.
It's because the one on the ground, I think he'd have disadvantage.
Mm-hmm.
18 plus whatever his ability plus 11, 29.
Hits.
Okay. It's 4d8 at 17th level.
48.
Yep, 48 flat.
It also gets the like guiding bolt thing on it too,
Oh,
right? Or no?
Does it?
I don't know if it does or not. Maybe I'm thinking something else.
I think that's
The comet?
Celestine's comment. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. 20 points of radiant damage.
All right. He just quickly like throws his hand outward, and this bright beam of light, almost it looks like a small rod of energy, flies and slams into the shoulder. And you can see where it hits into the shoulder of the hellhound. It kind of retracts from it a little bit, it lets out a yelp, and you can see a pretty heavy cauterized kind of scorch mark in the shoulder. That's pretty indicative to you guys of it doing more damage, essentially.
All right. Okay, that's good. Yep. That's his turn.
Okay. Sorry, you are up.
Twin spell.
As Ander is running by and the one like kind of snaps at his ankle, I'll kind of just like unsheath the axe and swing down at its head to try to
Okay.
get it to leave him alone.
Execution.
What in the range then?
Yeah. And I activate my rage. So to hit will be 25.
Hits.
That's good. 7.
Like some ankle too, like they're not taller than Andrew on all four legs.
21. 30 damage.
Nice.
Second attack. 27 to hit.
Hits.
It's 31 damage. And then he needs to make a dexterity saving throw while he's laying on the ground.
Disadvantage.
Uh, 19.
Succeeds. 13, 15. Takes 8 zap damage.
Okay.
I did 69.
Nice.
All right. So the first swing you take buries into the like kind of upper shoulder blade while it's chomping out towards Ander, and then with that you just hit the same spot once more, and with it follows some lightning behind that slams into it on top of the lightning that's dealt with the axe head itself. You can see it like almost trying to like get up, and you're just like slamming the axe down on it, dropping it down to the ground once more so it can't.
Oh, wait. I unsheathed my axe. I get an extra d4. 3.
Got it.
That's it. That's all you needed.
Okay. After Czar Chalonia. Azrael.
Yep. Smash like it's not half the third line.
Going to use 3 key in his action to cleanse soul. Remove a condition on the creature and remove present.
Okay. I'm actually going to need you to roll like a spell casting ability thing. Just due to the fact that it's very powerful frightened.
So he doesn't really have this. Well, does he?
He does. It pretty much just be like his
Oh, yeah, key save.
like the 8. Yeah, so 8 plus or no. Sorry, his wisdom modifier is what he would use. That would be his spellcasting ability, just as wisdom modifier. Yeah.
Alright, that's 8.
8, yeah. He turns around and kind of pushes his hand against Anders' chest, reaching down. He feels almost like this dark energy just like pushing off of the chest of Ander, like it's pushing back what he's trying to do healing wise. You can tell that it's strong magic that is inflicting the fear.
Guess I'll be his turn then.
Okay. Yep.
So,
And you would visibly see it too as Azrael, like when he reaches back and puts his hand on his chest to try to fight it. Like you see the yellow energy from Chelonia resonating out, like the circles that he has where he focuses on the pressure points. And then you just watch like this kind of deep red kind of smoke or something encompass that and kind of push it away.
do I know about these type of hounds?
You can make a history check with advantage.
29.
Okay. From what you know about hellhounds, they are not really something that is... they're not created. They're more bred, and bred for one purpose, and it's pretty much just to hunt. Specifically, you're not really sure who it is they serve, but you do know that they could serve any plethora of demons or fiends for any sort of purpose, but most of the time it's to hunt something down and kill it for, purposes of improving in their hierarchy or whatever it may be. In this case, whatever they are hunting is due to, you're assuming Erebos in some degree, just because of what you kind of were seeing, and then you knowing Andrew was possibly affected by it a little bit too, because you guys spoke of seeing it in your dream, and now it seems to be really affecting him to the point where he is probably marked or cursed.
Oh, and then we should have stepped to the other side. I'm walking around forming Demon Bane into the blade.
Okay.
Hold the action to attack.
All right. After that, it is the Hellhounds. This one will stand up. And, if that would be better. Yeah, I'll do that. Instead of him trying to just run, this one stands up and sees Ander back here, and then draws in a deep kind of like breath, and then this low growl comes out, followed by a bunch of fire that's spewing outward. Some of it's like almost lava equivalent to where it falls out, like the saliva is almost like magma. So I need Zar, Azrael, Chelonia, and Ander all to make that save.
And he got a 14.
Success and a fail from him.
17.
It's a fail. You want to roll for Ander really quick.
Does he get advantage?
Dex saves?
Yeah.
He might just have a high bonus.
No, I don't think he gets advantage. He might have. He has, yeah. He's good. Just normal roll.
23.
That's a success. So 22 points of fire damage. Halved if you made it to 11. And then halved once more if you have resistance to 5.
So he takes 5.
Yep.
You took 5 damage, you didn't?
Sick.
Would have been
Worth to die.
would have been 22. But it got
I rolled a save for you, dude.
Wow.
And I succeeded.
Tried to cleanse the fire, but it said no.
He just said no.
Yeah.
all right.
You're like greater
this one-
restoration. He said no.
This first one is going to attempt to run away.
Pussy. As I ran away.
He already used his reaction.
Good, yeah.
And then it leaps over Chelonia.
Opportunity attack?
He's still within range of
What
it.
do you mean by run away? I think we have different definitions of run away.
From where Moldrak is. William?
What about that guy?
Share my attack on
Yeah, you can do your attack on this guy first before I resolve mine.
One of them can't run, right?
What's that?
He's considered demons.
They are fiends.
The one you use your reaction on can't run, right?
But of the demons.
I think I have to leave. I get a melee weapon attack, but I don't think it counts as an opportunity attack.
Shit, actually this is not a demon, it's just a fiend. So you don't get the shit from that. This is just a fiend.
15 is it?
15 to hit, 15 misses. The first one, as it jumps, it leaps over Zarvex's shoulder and kind of lands right behind him, and you just try to catch it in the air, but you're just short of kind of gliding across and hitting it.
It's going to be 20.
Dex is too high.
Second one to 20.
Hits.
We got the yellow one. I was trying to get the yellow one for like 3 days.
Really?
19 damage.
19?
Feels like a skin.
That's what it is. Freeze dried.
Another candy pop.
Okay. After you take the first kind of like stab out to try to catch it in the air, and it lands down, you just kind of reach up and slide with the bottom part of the blade hitting into the side. The two that jump over just start, you like, as it lands and you slice up into it, before you even finish the slice, it's already been biting out and starting to slash out towards Ander, and there's just fury of attacks. So Ander, You've got 5 attacks coming from this one, and 5 coming from this one. All of them are at advantage.
Die.
Correct. So they're straight rolls. The first one's going to be a bite. That's going to be 17 to hit.
Misses.
Okay. Then he's going to do the next 4 as a rend attack.
You guys wait here.
Not here.
The lowest is a 20.
It all hit. 18. Shit. I'll do all of them. I'll do a enhanced blood curse of the eyeless.
Okay.
Just try to gauge from all the hit rolls this time.
All of the hit rolls of
The last
the.
attack.
Okay.
So the 6. So -6 on all of this.
Okay, so the 20 becomes 14.
Miss.
The 22 becomes 15.
Miss.
The 28 becomes 22.
2 miss.
Yes.
And the 26 becomes 20.
Yes.
Okay, so 2 hits. Where's my D8?
Remember when Shab did that?
You also need
Eight?
to make a
Only
con
took 1
save,
damage?
2 of them.
That's pretty cool. Remember when you reduced the rolls by 8 and only took 1 damage?
I remember that. Cheater.
If only you could have done it this time, you know. Just kidding.
28 points of slashing damage.
What just happened?
The marker die?
No, it's just gross.
No.
This feels crazy.
Yo!
Trying to choke me to death. One of my cons is 15, the other one's 5.
They both fail.
You took the dodge action, didn't you?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, all those should have been at disadvantage.
Straight rolls.
Oh, because they're probably packing.
So, you notice the wounds from the claws seem to be bleeding profusely.
Oh, even worse than not healing.
So you have 2 stacks of bleed on you. You get -1 to damage and attacks per stack to a maximum of 5.
How do we clear them? Got any potions? Okay. Maybe
Okay.
try one of those rejuvenation ones and see if it clears it because you heal every round. And that way,
The
if
next
you
one's
drink-
going to attack you now.
They take 6 attacks.
Yeah, one guy just took 5 attacks.
This one's going to do the first bite.
The pussy.
21 to hit.
Do this anymore. Use my reaction.
You've definitely been unmuted the whole time you sat back down.
I expect nothing less.
Yeah.
So 20. Wait. Yeah. 25 points of piercing damage. Nope, sorry. 15 points of piercing. 5 points of fire. 5 half to 2. So 17 damage total. The 4 rend attacks.
You got an idea? It might not work at all, but I have an idea.
So 18.
Oh, to hit hits.
Okay, all the other ones miss.
Sick.
So what do I got? D8.
Too many times.
20 points of slashing damage.
We're great over here. Nobody worried.
You just
You good?
it gets to a point where you don't really see Ender. You're just seeing blood splashing around from where they're biting into him and slashing down into his side. One of them actually gets a good grip around his back and then pulls downward to where part of the jacket is kind of dangling at this point, and you can see Anders' back is just bleeding heavily. You can see wounds in his upper shoulder where it's just kind of like falling down and dripping heavily from his shoulder. He's getting to the point where he's starting to kind of fall down and push himself back up with everything he has in him to stay standing.
I just want you guys to know if I die, I've already decided that I'm not going to fight anymore.
If you try to revive me, I'm not coming back.
That's what he said.
Moldrak, you're up.
We're going to try to revive you, and roll so high you don't have an option.
But while you guys are doing it, I'm going to
Andrew,
go,
you're on
wow,
deck.
this is really, I'm going to cry, guys.
Can you repeat that thing you said about me just now?
I'm gonna move
So nice.
into. There's one standing next to me.
Yeah, right between you and Czar.
I'm gonna. He can take a reaction attack if he wants. I'm gonna move next to Ander.
Okay. Right here?
Yeah, either there.
Yeah, because you can't really be anywhere to be on top of both of them.
Yeah.
So you just kind of have to pick one.
Yeah, that's fine.
Not gonna opportunity attack.
Okay. Oh, okay. Alright, that's fine. You said he didn't take an attack?
No. Didn't even notice you left.
Okay. Sorry.
We gotta put Ander in Chelonia's shell. The only option we got.
Well, you're gonna have a turn before they go, right?
Yep.
You are though too?
Yeah, I'm right after you.
Okay. Alright. What are the odds that their claws are considered magical, do you think?
I'm gonna
Okay.
agree.
Alright, for my action I'm gonna take 3 swings.
Okay.
Does a 19 hit?
Yes.
Okay, all 3 hit then.
Okay.
Lowest was a 19. I guess I'm just gonna take 3 swings at the one closest to me, because. Strength save for the first one. He's prone. We'll 2 more attacks to see if either of them's a crit. Nope. That's okay though. First attack is gonna do 24 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Second attack is gonna do 11, 20 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Third one is gonna do not as much. 15 points of bludgeoning damage. And then as a bonus action, I'm going to reach over to Ander, and as a bonus action, expend 2 charges from my amulet to grant him resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing attacks for 1 minute.
All right.
And what healing Chelonia be having, you know what I'm saying? Why is he looking over there with the healing?
Dude, be tapped out.
I'm like, just
All right. You start. The first swing that you take knocks the hellhound to the ground. You like slam it up in the upper shoulder blades and cause the arms or the front legs to buckle out. And then with that, you just repeatedly slam into the back. You hear a quick crunch on the last one as it finds pretty good purchase into a kind of shoulder blade area. And you hear this light little kind of and then as it hits and crunches, reaching back, you throw the shield to where you're protecting yourself from the hellhound just naturally, like through fighting, protecting yourself from whatever you're fighting. But it doesn't even seem to be paying attention to you even after what you just did. Then you reach over, kind of pulling towards Ander from your chest where the amulet is, and as it pushes towards him,
you can see the ground at your feet starts to crawl up your legs, and it builds like a little suit of armor on you.
So I'm restrained?
Yeah, fully restrained. Take your attacks with advantage, Billy.
Okay. Ander, you are up.
Good knowing you.
Yeah, it seems to be the case.
Out of there and heal.
I don't know if running's even worth it.
Heal as much as you can.
I'm gonna heal.
Take do you have one of those Supreme ones? Might be worth taking that.
I have one Supreme.
With how much damage they do. Then again, you do have resistance now, so
I am at 11 HP.
yeah. That's a good point.
What is the Supreme?
10d4 plus 20.
Mm-hmm.
Sip up a potion. If I can grab these. Of the Supreme variety.
Some good rolls.
Pretty good.
I grabbed the. I only seen the 3 ones at first. I was like, damn, this is terrible. I'm fucked.
No, the rest of them are really good.
It's 10d4 plus
20.
20? Okay.
Money well spent.
And then. Or, do any of. I guess they're already covered in blood, so you can't really tell.
You can definitely tell the one that's directly in front of you on the ground is like the most hurt, just because of you seeing Moldrak like kind of pummel it to the ground, and you heard a crack noise at the shoulder of it.
I thought that was the one that was standing in front of me.
Mm-mm. He just did that to this one.
Oh, just now. That's right.
Mhm.
Oh.
Somebody's gonna make it through next year.
You just stay there.
What are you saying? Say dodge. Didn't seem to work last time.
They got advantage if you don't. So. That one attack, you turn 5 into 1.
Yeah. You also have
He
resistance.
turned 5 into 1.
No. That was the first one. I'm talking about the second one.
I guess it is true.
Tyler might be
Yeah, I'm gonna dodge again.
All right. You see, pretty much all you're tunneled in at is the hellhounds that are in your face. Even the one that's been knocked down is still pretty eye level with you, probably even a little bit higher. And you can just see the just growling, the teeth kind of snarling at you. And then you're looking over to your right, and you can see another one is just kind of standing up and looks enormous. It's kind of chomping at you and growling at the same time. You're
wanna-
visibly.
I want to throw it out there that the fact that you're trying to kill me with dogs is a little fucked up.
It actually is.
It's
Yeah.
a little fucked
He's
up.
going to sue you, dude.
He's gonna go home and have bad dreams about this.
All right, after Ander, Connor, and then Zarbrax.
All right. Connor is going to. There's only 2 of them there. He's going to use Luntari's Light again, and he's going to spend a sorcery point to twin spell and hit both of the ones there. Yeah, and with an attack roll spell, do I make 2 attack rolls or do I just roll the hit with
You'd
one?
make 2 attack rolls.
Okay. The lowest one's a 24.
Both hit.
Or wait, no, they're D8s. Let me just double check that. Sorry. Yep, 4D8. Okay. So, first one, I don't know specifically. 10. 15 points of radiant damage for the first one.
You can just double that for me.
Okay, alright, 30. And then. and then 40 points of radiant damage for the second one.
40?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, once it hits the rod of bright white energy slamming into the form, you can see it just almost like sizzle through entirely and burn this kind of dark charred flesh in the side. All right. Connor just staying where he's at.
Yeah, I don't think there's a... Ooh. He can't cast 2 spells in the same round, can he?
Depends.
Okay, on anything...
Like the levels of the spells.
What's like the max?
I think if you cast... So like
9
for
is
us,
a
we've
bonus
always
action?
done it.
So I just did a cantrip. Could I cast like a 3rd level spell?
Is the cantrip a bonus action or an action? That also matters.
The cantrip is an action, but I can use sorcery point to do quicken spell.
Then do it as a bonus action.
Yeah.
So as long as it's no more than a 4th level spell.
Okay. Let me just. I don't know how many sorcery points quicken spell takes. Let me just. It might be based on spell level. It just costs 2 sorcery points. Okay. So I'm going to once. Well, yeah. I'm gonna once more cast haste on Zarvrax.
Damn, you're playing the character and you didn't cast on yourself? Lame.
It feels like favoritism to me. Not that I do that.
That's a pocket sorcerer right there.
Yo, Moldrig getting hasted, casting fly on him. And that is Connor's turn.
Okay.
Like, he's
What
not
did-
even going to
what
heal
did
me,
he
he's just
cast
going to heal
for a spell?
himself. He's got
Alright,
a
The
hockey
first spell was
Limtari's
Limtari's
Light.
Light,
Was
and
it?
then he cast haste on Zarvrax.
Okay.
So he's concentrating on that.
Got it.
Can you do something, by the way? I'm dying
I
here.
can try.
I'm dying here.
All right. Zara, you're up.
I'm gonna the one that like jumps over Cheloni and is in the middle and is now knocked over.
Mhm.
As he was like jumping over, I track him,
Okay.
and then as I'm swinging the axe, the haste kicks in, and I just go. Jesus fucking Christ, dude!
Was that 2
I'm
ones?
using my- I'm using, again, I'm using my reaction to reroll your one.
Worth it.
No, it didn't do anything.
Damn.
I had
27 to
I
hit.
felt it was a 20.
It's
What are you gonna do with your reaction,
Yeah,
really?
not really. Unless they run away from me.
I can stop him if you want. But, I don't know if you want that at this point.
26 damage.
okay.
That's a 23 to hit,
Are you intentionally trying to roll bad?
dude.
Damn.
I tried
Good
really hard
damage,
that
though.
time.
Holy shit, good damage. Damn.
12, 11, 23, 17. That's 40 damage.
Okay.
Should I try to grapple him or just attack him again?
That's up to you. I think maybe we could stop some attacks on Ander. We do, but who knows?
You can also stop attacks on me if you just kill it.
You probably, I would imagine you have advantage to try and do that while you're raging, so
Grappling?
yeah.
It's like
I think it just takes an attack action.
it's a grapple check instead of an attack roll. A
Okay.
strength athletics check contested by the target's strength or dexterity check. But I think they have high dex.
Fuck, I should have tried to
What?
grapple at 18.
Yeah. I'm just gonna attack him for a 30.
Yeah, hopefully maybe you can take one out.
30 to hit.
It's
There we go.
Let's go.
41 damage. And then he needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay.
21.
He succeeds and takes 4 lightning damage.
All right. So as the hellhound's jumping over, once it lands, Moldrak, you're just like chasing it almost as you see it leave from where you were, because the other one just pretty much laying on the ground. It jumps up, leaps over, and you're just running around. As you run around, it goes to start attacking Andrew, and you just slam the hammer into it after it pretty much finishes up doing that. It falls to the ground, and even with that, you see Zarvek start just slamming the axe into it at the same time as you, just trying to make sure that it doesn't hurt Andrew any more than it's already trying to. Blood is splashing up with every axe hit, but you can also see that it is very hardy and is not definitely noticing and feeling the damage, but it seems to just have this dead like mindset on what it's doing right now, and it's trying to kill Ander. All right, Chelonia is up, and then Azrael.
Just wanted to kind of do like a jump up, and like an angle, like spin around. He's just coming down. He's like jab into the sound, and he lands. Lands with his hand down on Ander, and so his attack. His action he's attacking. His bonus action is healing.
Okay.
Is that the one on the ground?
No.
Oh,
Nice.
Imagine having a thing that if you get crits, you multiply or you roll extra dice, and then you crit on the other guy.
Crit. 6 damage. Oh,
he's a healer. He's a healer.
Never mind. A little better. 20 damage.
Okay.
There we go. Did 6 damage? I was about to cry for him.
Yeah.
Somebody almost got cut from the team.
Second attack.
We gotta have a meeting after this.
25.
Okay.
9 damage.
I could incapacitate.
He deals
him for a
additional
turn.
damage if he hits
17.
balls. Okay.
How do you do that?
I have a breath weapon,
Shield.
but it's a cone, and anything in it gets incapacitated.
Get us all.
So,
Well, it's lightning now, right?
no, it's just it's not. It all it does is incapacitate.
Oh. That's cool.
This is all.
What's the save for it? Constitution? They seem really hardy. Like if they're still alive after we've smacked them around 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, that's true.
16 health.
Oh, but it still might be worth trying. Is it a whole action to do that?
It's one of my attacks.
Okay. We can always try it at the end if we can manage to kill one of these guys.
Right.
Yeah.
So I was gonna use just like slicing them back and forth with the blade and the one on the ground.
Okay.
I could probably angle it so I would get everyone,
Andrew, when you get healed
but it'd be
from
Chelonia too.
Chelonia, the deep wounds that you have that are just dripping with blood seem to close up to the point where you're no longer bleeding.
Heal miss. Second one.
Come on.
5.
This is why I leave you muted. I'll watch the footage later.
14 damage.
It's a ghost.
14.
He's actually just like,
Bonus action attack.
hello, bing, bing.
We have next
Can you
one.
hear me?
It's blowing it.
Not that 18. So yeah, extra D8. Fiends. Oh, not D8. 20. Not the bonus. So 21 damage.
Double the radiant.
Don't have any radiant.
Oh, fuck.
A demon, unfortunately.
Oh no.
It's just a fiend.
Have any like blessed bullets or anything?
Using the sword and blade.
Oh shit, dude. Should have been doing more damage to you.
That's on you. You can't do it now.
What the
I
fuck?
know. I'm gonna
I'd
start
be
doing
dead.
it now, though.
Wait, I'd be dead.
Have you been forgetting about the extra dice or something?
Yeah, there's 2 different ways in which it gets it.
I don't have resistance now.
That's true. You do.
Andrew dodged.
Resistance and you dodged.
That's
And also I can try.
Okay, you're just pretty much trying to slice into the ground as best you can.
Not into the guy on the ground. Not into the ground.
The Hellhounds. This one's going to be here. This one will stand up.
He doesn't have to. He's still kind of like face to face with Ander.
This one is going to run all the way around to here.
But he doesn't have enough movement, right?
No, it definitely doesn't. Yeah, so Zara and Chelonia both get opportunity attacks.
Crit. Let's go crit.
24.
It's
19.
it's.
Yeah, I got with a 19. Yeah.
God, you suck.
He's actually going to use his reaction and dodge. So he adds 5 to his AC.
He can use a reaction and dodge?
What's the total?
So it misses. So it comes. Your attack goes to what from 19? 4? 14? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that misses. So yours hits.
It's a lot of damage.
Say a whole lot of damage.
A whole lot of damage.
Wait, you minus 5 from my attack?
Yes, for the roll.
Oh.
He just adds 5 to his AC, which is pretty much the same thing.
Well, you roll like fucking punched all the time.
As he's running away, you go to swing up high, like right pretty much into the
Use
mouth.
some
Just
Jerry's
take the
dice.
top part of the head off, and he just does like a quick jump, kind of sidestep, and then makes his way around. Chelonia reaches out and kind of smacks him with a hand before he reaches the other side of
Maybe your
Ander.
dice bag is bad.
Ander, you're not able to be flanked, right? But you still
No,
have
his dex is
disadvantage.
too high.
So it's a straight roll because you dodged.
Okay, does the dex thing lower the smaller you get? Like, do I need a higher dex because I'm
You're
tiny?
still considered medium.
I feel like that would make
And
it like.
also, if you're tiny, I don't know if you can even be flanked. I don't think you can be flanked if you're tiny.
Flank of 15.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure it says it right.
1000% you can flank the shit out of Pixie. You need yourself to flank the shit out of them. You could put your hands around a Pixie and they're flanked.
Whoa! He's flanking me. It's just me here, bro.
The first attack, bite attack. I'm gonna start with this guy. Just bite you with this one.
Miss.
15 to hit. The 4 rend attacks.
2 of them are gonna hit.
Alright.
17 and 15.
Both those miss.
Oh, I should
24 and 28.
have listed you for the plus 2 AC.
Additional die.
Yeah, actually, that might have
I
been.
didn't think about it.
You need 2. I need 2 con saves from you.
On the first one that actually manages to hit him, I'm gonna take my reaction.
Okay.
Is it the one that's within range of me? Or?
Yeah, it's this one right here.
Okay.
Yeah, so one was a 24.
26 to hit, and I need a strength saving throw from you, otherwise he's knocked prone again.
Okay.
19 and 21.
15 for the save. 19,
Okay,
21. You
He's
take-
knocked prone again,
Okay.
and he takes 26 points of bludgeoning damage.
How much damage is going to take from the runs? The 2.
I'm gonna re-roll the second one
What?
It would be at
because it's
disadvantage.
disadvantage.
Oh.
It's in your favor, pal.
Yeah.
21, so that hits either way. Okay, so the first one,
That's okay.
you need to delineate the bludgeoning and slashing, right?
I have all of
Well,
resistance to
I think
everything.
I was gonna say I think he has resistance to anything
Yeah,
he's gonna
against
take from this because
fire
it's
and-
fire and slashing, right?
And I have resistance to slashing.
All right, there's only you take necrotic damage from this other thing that I was forgetting, so that won't be halved. But the other stuff
so
is halved.
toxic.
I'm going to just start adding shit to my
So
I'm just gonna
14 slashing half to 7,
say- it's crazy.
and 8 necrotic. Okay,
Fire.
the second
Double
one.
because he gives you vulnerability.
The second one is 16 slashing, half to 8, and 5 necrotic. So 13 total there. That was just the first guy.
Sure it was.
The second
It's not an 8.
hound right here. First one's going to be a bite.
Bless you.
Bless you.
It hits.
Thank you.
24.
I'm a genius, dude. Can see the future, guys. 27 damage. Half to 14.
9 piercing,
Weak
half to
bitch.
4,
Out of this.
and 6 fire, half to 3. So 7. Then his 4 rend
You're
attacks.
Oh,
38
7
inches.
total. He said 6 after 3 or something, and then he said 7, and I was like, wait a minute. He got an extra damage?
Natural 1, natural 20, 29,
Can you make him reroll?
21.
Natural 20.
I don't have a lot left.
Can Connor spend a lucky to make him reroll that natural 20?
Yes.
Is he close enough?
I
Does
don't know.
Connor roll it or do I roll it?
I don't know.
I think it's 30 feet.
Is it 30 feet?
No, I don't know.
It's either 30 or
5,
6.
10, 15,
He's the
20,
last.
25, 30.
How
Is
do you
it
make
30
these
feet?
boards so big,
Is it
Billy?
30 feet or within range?
I don't know. I don't have the lucky feet in front of me. So.
Is it like that you can see? What do we got?
Bro, where's feet, dude? Where does it?
Table.
Hang on. Right,
A lot of feet down there.
Fuck you, dude.
So
You can also spend a roll is made against you.
oh, maybe you can't if it's not against you.
he's lucky. He's not lucky for you.
Okay.
I am for you guys, but you guys can't go and do it
So
for me.
I'll
All right.
do the attacks here in order. You need to make 3 con saves.
One's a 5,
Okay, so that's 1.
plus one is an 18 after that.
Alright, so just the 1.
I'm dead, boys.
That's okay.
The first. That's rude, dude. The
No,
first
if you-
one.
If you go down
Yeah.
to 0, I can.
This is
make
the
you
natural 20,
invulnerable
so it's just straight.
completely.
Like a reaction.
No, that's an action. but-
I'm gonna be dead by the time.
19 points of damage total.
From all of them?
No, from just the 1 there.
Just
One
keep
attack?
telling me.
That was the crit. Straight damage. Good?
Keep going.
You're just adding that up? Okay. Then these ones are halved, right? So 4, 9 half to 4, and then the 9 necrotic, so 13.
It's 32 total.
Next one. 8. That's including the necrotic and it being halved.
Great.
Grappling was the move.
Next hellhound.
He's just gonna kill me one turn.
I know. I don't know what we were supposed to do.
The bite.
Not talk shit.
That's
for the
one.
entire campaign.
And then the 4 rends. 17, natural 1, 30, and 26.
You hit how many?
2.
You only hit 2? I'll knock the fuck out, and then one's gonna make me fail.
2 con saves.
Does it matter if I'm on the ground bleeding to death?
Kind of.
One's makes it, the other one's a 15.
Okay, so you got 2 sacks in this.
Am I doing attack or all roll?
2 attacks and damage.
That's
6 and 3, so that's already halved with everything. So 9 from the first one.
Dude, it killed me, that first one.
First one you're down.
Yeah, knocked the fuck out. So next one.
failed death save.
Yep. Alright, so you have 1 failed death save. You watch Ander pretty much turn it into a bloodied mess on the ground. And it is pretty obvious looking at these hellhounds right now that they're not going to stop.
Fuck. I'm gonna have to waste all my charges, but I'm not gonna be.
This will go away after you get
The
healed.
thing is, even if we heal you, they're gonna keep attacking. But if I do this, I have an hour of concentration where you're invulnerable and you can take no damage at all. you're basically encased in ice.
For an hour?
Yeah.
God,
So we can take the time to kill them, and they can't do anything
Does
to
he
you.
also not do anything?
He doesn't make death saves. He's just
yeah,
at
put me in
zero.
ice, dude. Cryo freeze my ass.
Zionism?
Yeah, basically.
For an hour, though. Imagine an hour-long Zanyas. You lose the game.
I do have to concentrate on it. So, but yeah.
That's a free L for your team. But in this situation,
Wojak, you're up.
Okay. Alright, if that's what we want to do, that's what we want to do.
Feel like heal him a little bit so he's not in the death state when he goes in.
or do I have
Comes
to
out, he
get
doesn't
zero?
just like pop.
Well,
You could like heal him.
I don't have
Chance that he
I don't
comes
have
out
anything
roll
I
one.
don't have anything I can do as a bonus action. Somebody would just have to be ready to heal him as he came out.
You could hold your action until Shalonia heals him. One.
I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I'm gonna hold my action. When Chelonia heals Ander, I'm going to use my action for my Amulet of Elemental Mastery of Water to put Ander in a stasis.
Okay.
Making him invulnerable to all damage, cannot take actions, reactions, speak. You can see your surroundings, but you're, not making death saves and you can't be harmed.
Got it. Okay. Andrew, you're up. Make a save.
Oh, fuck.
Don't worry.
Forgot about that.
Can't roll natural ones. It's a 16.
Success.
God, halflings are broken. I would have died off a natural one, but I could have just re-rolled it.
Unless
Connor's
you
up.
rolled 2 in a row.
Yes,
Alright. He's going to use. What is this spell? They seem like they have good dexterity. Yeah, I'm just going to do another Luntari's Light and keep focus on the haste. He's going to do another twin spell to hit. I don't know, the two that look the most injured, if he can tell, since he's not in the heat of it.
Yeah, it'd just be the two that he sees like first. From the,
Okay.
because this one kind of laying on the ground back there. So we'd see these two and hit them.
Lowest is a 19.
Both hit.
So, D8. God, why is everything so disorganized?
This one. Which one was the lowest? Because he might just dodge.
Oh, I don't know.
There's 1, 2.
I'll just say the one closest to
This
me.
one? Okay, he's gonna dodge then.
Okay. So one of them hits. 4, 15, plus 3. 15. For 36 points of radiant damage.
Okay.
That's his turn.
Sorry, you're up.
Y'all just love pulling those off. It's crazy.
You're good.
Sorry.
Sorry.
I did not mean to kill your ears. Can I get the cone thing?
I got this thing.
Yeah. Trying to look at your stuff.
Okay, you're good.
So is that a 15-foot cone where only they're going to be affected?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to use enervating breath weapon attack. They need to make a constitution
Well,
save.
Anders not in ice yet.
Well, he's just going to be incapacitated.
Oh,
She already is.
okay.
So they just need to make constitution saving throws
Okay.
against my DC. And if they fail, they're incapacitated until my next turn.
15.
Fail.
Fuck. Okay. 20.
Success.
24.
Fuck.
So this one.
Okay, one is good. Incapacitated.
I have a.
Good shit.
There's an incapacitated. These rings are insane.
And that replaces one of my attacks. I'm gonna run over to the guy that's laying on the ground.
You probably have.
$31.
Hits.
Here we go. Okay. 30 damage. $26 to hit.
Was it 12?
Yes, sir. 33 damage. And
I do have to concentrate on it. I mean, they might. They don't know it. It'll make him invulnerable, so. They might at least waste a round doing it.
I'll just headbutt it. He needs to make a dex saving throw.
Run another glass.
Wait. 19.
Actually, it might just be water. It doesn't really say. I don't know. Either way, he can't be harmed in it.
Okay. Yep. All right. After you use your breath weapon, you just kind of run around and start hacking into this one on the ground. You kind of get fueled by seeing Ander on the ground, just bleeding from his mouth and all over. Deep wounds throughout his body. Chelonia's up.
Pick off his 1D from slice turn. I don't see any blade mess. Swing a staff on him, slam it on the ground. There's one key to do it. I'm just gonna pick up. We'll spend 70. We have 70 health plus 71.
Okay.
This is action. White, yellow circle will just like go around his body and like
71.
heal all the wounds as it passes through him and drop off blood.
All right. You hear Ander kind of let out a cough as he wakes up and looks around to the hellhounds just like looking down at him. And
At that moment, Moldrak swings his arms around and he draws the grass out of the plants in like a 10-foot area, and they just wither. And he completely encases Ander in water. However his reaction might be to that, and then it freezes almost instantly.
Okay. All right. So
Got like cube in it.
I do.
Underneath the cube.
I do have the cube. It's over there somewhere. After Chelonia, Azrael.
Slash it in this. Incapacitated one in front of me.
I was gonna say, I think you have it. Yeah, I was gonna say, I think incapacitated is the one for
Should
that.
have left
The
that.
status effect. Jesus Christ.
Only it
Yeah,
wasn't.
you probably would have killed him.
One shot, isn't it?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
Let's see.
Just can't take actions. I feel like there's something with incapacitated. No,
Maybe
no,
it's-
that's unconscious.
I'd say maybe it's stunned or unconscious.
Yeah, no. Just incapacitated, so he can't take actions or reactions. Okay, now. Okay.
magical effect?
What?
The resistance, maybe?
Oh yeah, he still has that for up to a minute, but it's not super relevant at this point.
These are nice.
Yeah.
That's not gonna fit right there. Alright. What'd you get to hit?
16.
16 distance. 11 damage.
Okay.
Three damage. Bonus action. 19, which will not fix the last one. 15 damage.
Okay. You start to just carving into it. This is like blood's like splashing up. You can see this hound getting weaker by the minute, and it seems just like frazzled right now. It's trying to figure out what's going on and find Ander pretty much. And as it's doing that, you're just not even paying attention to it. You're just trying to cut it down before it even has a chance to hurt him. And after that, it is the Hellhounds. These two, since the other one is incapacitated, begin just like biting and clawing down on the ice. You can hear their nails against it as they're trying to slash into it and claw into it as best they can. And then once they kind of drop down and realize they can't really break into it or get him, they start just like quickly looking around before snapping their attention to different directions. The other one is incapacitated.
Yep. Till the end of your next turn?
Until my turn.
Oh, until your next turn,
Okay.
okay.
Top of the next round, Moldrack, you're up.
Okay, I'm gonna... I might just back up out of there. I don't know.
Got smoked.
Huh?
Well, I got smoked and then more attacks. Low.
Alright. I'm gonna back up. Do we get advantage on the incapacitated one or no?
No.
Yeah, you're frozen.
Um,
I'm gonna...
Probably might as well get pizza if I'm just gonna be sitting here watching for a little bit.
Does any of these guys look like more hurt?
The incapacitated one.
Okay, I'm gonna... Can I get...
You're in range, right?
I'm not in range?
You are.
Okay. Can I move around the back, or is that one gonna swing at me?
If you move this way,
Yeah.
it's more than likely.
Sorry. It's concentration. Okay. All right. Well, I'll take. I'm gonna risk it. I'm gonna run away from that one and go around to the back of the incapacitated one.
Okay.
You're gonna swing at me.
He's not going to.
Okay. All right. Then I'm gonna take 3 attacks against the one there.
Okay.
Strength save for the first one. It's a 24 to hit.
16 for the save.
Okay. 24 is the lowest, so they should all hit. So damage for the first one. 5, 9. 15 points of damage for the first one. Strength save for the second one.
24.
Okay, yeah, that makes it.
And then the third one was a 21.
All right. 11 points of bludgeoning for the second attack. I rolled 2 ones. And then 9, 8, 17, 6, 23 points of bludgeoning damage for the last one. And I can't take reactions. Fuck. I want to help, but I also want to maintain concentration.
Connor's right after you. Because Andrew's not.
Yeah, Moldrak's gonna back up. He's gonna spend some more movement heading, kind of towards Connor. Yeah.
Wait, I don't get a turn, dude.
No.
You're in the
You're
ice.
frozen in ice.
I wanted to stay in the ice.
Done.
I have 40 movement. So.
Oh, you want to go the whole 40?
No.
Because that's 10 right there.
Do.
Oh, yeah. My bad.
Yeah.
5, 10, 15. So you're at 25 right there.
Can you just move me 10 closer to Connor? All right.
35.
Yeah. That's Moldrak's turn. Connor is going to. I'm just going to keep doing this because it's. Actually, they're all grouped up now, right? Kind of. They're all within 10 feet of each other?
Yeah.
Okay. He's going to use Celestine's Comet. Yeah. So they need to make dexterity saving throws for this.
Can you give me one mission, please?
Can you read the comment? How
Yeah,
it works?
you send forth bright white beam of light trailing behind. Choose a point of range. On a hit, deal 3d10 to all creatures in a 10-foot radius. Oh, maybe I can't. I thought it was you choose. All creatures in spell's range must make a save. They take full damage on a fail, and the next attack has advantage.
Where'd you put the little... Oh, you gave it back. Trying to see 10 feet.
Do it without hitting.
Like if you focused it on Ander, no, you'd hit everybody.
Okay.
Because it's 5'10".
Driving my car like 2 weeks ago, and I randomly found a blue hair just like on my chest.
Okay, he hasn't used those.
When your hair was weird.
So tough.
This one here is like on death's door, like it's like barely standing.
Okay.
Does that help you decide?
Sure. I'm just gonna do Lintari's Light. I'm just gonna do Twin Spell Lintari's Light again, so I'll do the one that's super low and the one next to him.
Okay.
Yeah, I rolled an 18 and a 17 plus 11, so they both hit. D8s. First one takes 4, 12, 3, 15, 30 points of radiant.
For the first one?
Yep. Okay, 10, 20. And the second one takes 44 points of radiant.
Okay. Demon tray. Little fucking minis on there. Okay. The first beam slams into the shoulder of the one as it's like coming down from scraping on the globe of ice. And then the second one that he sends over goes clean through like the bottom part of the jaw. As it's still trying to like look around, he just aims one perfectly, comes out the top of the head, and it just plumps down onto the ground. When it plumps down onto the ground, instead of just being this kind of mass of flesh, you watch it kind of just start to like burn and turn into fire, and the whole body disappears and like starts to burn into ash into the air.
Melt your eyes. Can't. All right. That's the end of his turn.
Okay.
Spent
Czar, you're up.
didn't he just spent one point?
There's a dice by your front of Connor's chair.
There's a dice over there. A die.
So a little farther forward.
I can't reach. I got short legs. Phelps trying to play footsies with me down here. I see it.
Thank you.
The next camera I'm installing is one under the table to catch the
That one's blessed by Sean. I'm into
only for
Yeah.
subscribers.
Yo. That's on the.
dog open nowhere stock.
Got it.
Damn.
27 to hit. Bro, that's a cool dice scheme we got going on there.
Yeah, for sure.
Honestly, Billy should give you an extra 20 just for matching
I
dice.
think so. I think so.
What do you think about that?
No. My dice match real good too.
They're okay.
$33 damage. I also think Moldreg should get inspiration for doing that cool ice thing, but
I think so too. I was inspired.
You're gonna hand her inspiration, but it doesn't really do anything, unfortunately.
Yeah.
they could if I gave speeches, but I don't do that anymore after
Nah.
one speech. We don't talk about it anymore. 29 damage. Six to hit.
30 for the deck save, by the way, for the Zaxria.
Oh, okay.
Boxing live on Twitch.
33 damage.
Okay.
7. Oh, I could probably change Andrew's name back to Andrew Wetfoot from Andrew Deadfoot.
It's not over yet, but
All right.
just leave it as Deadfoot.
You haven't even really noticed that Ander has been encased in ice because you're just like slamming the axe down into the back of the Hellhound. It gets to a point where, like, after one of the hits, you just kind of like slow down for a second and draw back and can see it like bleeding heavily from the middle part of its back, like down its ribs, dripping down to the ground in front of it, like kind of thickening up on the ash that's on the ground, and just looking up at you, snarling with blood, and just kind of now focusing on you. And then you look over, like, oh shit, Ander's not in there anymore. Okay, Chelonia is up.
This ice.
That was a good roll. 5, 15, 25.
Hits.
8 damage. We'll spend 1 key. Try and stun it.
Okay.
Stunning strike, con save. 6. DC on there.
20.
20.
25.
Fuck.
Second attack.
No. Oh, you have to use your reaction. I was gonna say you can't. I don't think.
Can I use my reaction in the ice?
I don't think so. Yeah,
You literally can't do anything.
reactions is in here. You can see though. You can observe your surroundings.
Give me the old fierce blow.
Yeah.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
That's some good sucking.
You can try to
I'm
stun.
good second.
Try to stun again if you have key points left. Unless we need them.
2.
We might have another fight after this. Or we're going to have
Yeah.
another fight after this. So.
Well, if we have time to short rest, he regains his key.
It's also gonna die if this thing gets to attack.
Yeah.
So I'll spend that key to try to stun again.
Okay.
I was gonna say you could have also did bonus action, step of the wind.
18.
That fails.
Impales.
Or just stun him.
Only 38 health. No resistances.
Until Trelonia's next turn.
And the second attack. 20. 27.
Mm-hmm.
8 damage. Is it anytime it hits 2 attacks or the 2 attacks from
His 2 just base attacks. All right, so Chelonia, just kind of realizing that this hound has turned towards him, blood dripping from it, growling and snarling, getting ready to bite. He goes under the chest and just starts to jam his fingers up into the chest, watching these rings emanate outward. And then on the last kind of like 2 or 3, the legs in the front kind of go slump and it falls down onto the ground, trying to like pick its head up, but it's just groggy and like doing its best to stay awake almost.
Hairballs. My hair is
Okay, Azrael, you're up.
You don't brush it, dude? Brush your hair, man. You're gross.
stand on
Brush your
top
hair.
of the body of the hound as it's laying on the ground.
Well, it fizzles and it turned into ash. It lit on fire. Oh, this one as it's on the ground. Oh, okay. I gotcha. I thought you meant the body of the one there. Gotcha. Okay.
Like stand on top of it, 'cause I just never
Slice it.
That's my mom for
Slash on it.
Okay.
I think it's
With
going on
advantage.
like a year and a half, 2 years for me too.
27, 28.
It's, which will make that a crit.
Fucking toxic.
Yeah, so I've actually been just doing this wrong the whole time from before. You just have advantage. Because it makes the creature incapacitated, and I used to think incapacitated was like an unconscious thing, so it's not.
You have to take that.
11 damage.
Okay.
Second one. Ouch. 14.
To hit? Misses.
Well, I forgot none of those dice existed for a while.
The third one.
I forgot none of those dice
14.
existed.
Misses.
There's none of them use it. None of us use it. Or use them.
When you get up on the side of the hound and start like slicing into it, the end 2 attacks that you get are kind of a little bit.
I think that's what it is.
They just don't find good purchase, and like the muscle there is just super strong. All right, the hellhounds. That one's stunned.
Dead.
And this
One
one's
of them exists.
This one's gonna just start chomping at Czar here. Doesn't get any of his bonuses because
Not in a pack. Well, he kind of is, but he's stunned, incapacitated.
It's really who you say your pack is. So
Yeah.
he says we're his pack.
Oh shit,
So,
dude.
he just doesn't get his additional damage die because that one's stunned. No, he's still conscious, so he gets it. Okay. The bite first.
Yeah, we could just
It's
slide
a
your ice
26.
cube around. Roll you into the fire.
15, 20,
Have to fly
20
out.
points slashing and 6 of fire. So
do I get a short
13,
rest?
right? 13.
Do I get a short rest?
That's a good point. I think you
No.
You got
The
seven-
4 rend
rested.
attacks.
You got
It's an air conditioned room, and I'm
Lowest is a 24.
Honestly, I think I should go long rest.
It's only,
First
it only
one.
lasts for 1 hour, so
10 after 5.
You ever sleep in an AC room? It makes you sleep for fucking
11
10
half to
hours
5.
if you
wake up in the dark. Where
8
am
half to
I?
want.
4.
Fucking heat done.
And
Like I slept for fucking 2 hours. and I sleep for
15 half
10.
to 7.
Get an in-window AC unit.
Then you have to make
I
4
like
Constitution
suffering.
saving throws.
No, he likes it right now.
When you realize I'm useless.
Success.
Bad sleep quality. It's not, just causes, it's like a cycle.
Fail.
What's that?
You're bleeding.
It's like while you're half asleep while you're playing D&D at 4 p.m.
Another bleed.
Yeah.
That's because you don't have a consistent sleep schedule.
Success. So you have a -1 per stack to your attacks and damage.
It's because your room is 95 degrees all the
You know,
time.
maybe all this correlates.
All right.
There's no way that could be true.
Starts kind of chomping towards you. The first bite finds purchase like in your arm, and you just shrug it off. Like even the fire that's burning from it doesn't seem to bother you much. You throw an elbow and knock it down, and then it just starts scraping its claws out at you and kind of biting at your legs. Gets a deep enough chunk on your thigh to where blood's spewing out pretty good, to where you're bleeding heavily from. And you see that it's not kind of stopping. It just keeps going and going and going. All right. After that, Moldrek, you're up.
Why'd you have to go white? It's really toxic.
Yeah, honestly.
You put me in the ice.
Honestly, get out of the ice.
That's your choice. I literally can't choose.
Oh, I can end it as a bonus action. I'm not gonna.
He walks away and then he ends it.
Alright, everyone, let's go.
That one guy over there he's still stunned, right?
Mm-hmm.
Alright, I'm gonna run over there and whack him and then run away.
30 feet right there.
30. Damn, Bill, you always take the longest paths to get to enemies.
Yeah, I went.
Yeah, for sure.
I was preempted for fucking 320s.
No. One misses, 2 hit.
You roll an advantage.
Oh, I didn't roll with advantage. Alright, so I'll just roll 3 again. 2 of them should have hit, though. I think it was 25 and 26.
Yep.
The other one missed. Okay.
So 2
that
hit.
it brings it with advantage. It's up to a 20 instead of a
hits.
like I think it was a 17 before.
Okay.
All right. It's just D10s. My enhancement's gone. Oh fuck. All right. 17 points of bludgeoning for the first one.
Okay.
15 points of bludgeoning for the second one. And 9 points of bludgeoning for the third one. And I'm going to take 10 feet back towards Connor.
10. 5, 10. Okay.
That works.
All right. You just run up after watching it kind of slump on the ground. You just run up and start smacking the hell out of it with the hammer and then dropping back, still kind of focusing in the background on the globe that Ander is in.
It's like an ice cube. It's like this big.
Ander's turn. Connor's up. Then Tsar.
Okay. I'm just gonna keep doing what he's been doing because it makes my life easier.
Okay.
So he's gonna roll 2 attacks. And it's only a cantrip and it costs a sorcery point. So.
His attack roll against this one's at advantage.
Okay. Well, he rolled a natural 20
Nice.
for one of them. So I'll just call those first 2 rolls the first guy and then roll again. Does a 19 hit the other one?
Yes.
Okay. Alright. So this is the critical, which is
Right, you roll it, double it, and then double that.
okay.
What?
Okay. 12.
It's radiant. Oh, okay. Oh my god. Damn.
60 points of radiant damage against the
How much?
60.
I thought you said 16. I was like, wow, that was kind of...
No.
Roll the roll.
It was 15 times 2
Cool.
times 2. And then the one that hits the other guy. Damn, I should have rolled that. 34 points of radiant to the other one.
You say I should have rolled that for the.
Yeah.
Okay. The first beam of energy, as it's kind of flying out, has this just huge impact, and it's not really like more power behind it. It's just where it hits. You kind of slam into the chest, and where it hits in the chest, you can see the Hellhound as it's kind of jumping up, getting ready to hit Chelonia, and you slam into it. It causes it to like pull into itself as it's trying to like get itself up from being stunned and like stand. You just hit it again and it just poof, knocks it down onto the ground once more. And then the one in the back, as you throw a beam out at that, it slams it into the shoulder, and definitely see it reacting to it more heavily than anything else. Okay. Czar, you're up. Ventralonia. Swinging. Just -2 to the attack.
25 to hit.
Hits. The -2 to the damage.
One damage.
Okay, damn, nice.
Damn. So close.
29 to hit.
Take 3 levels of fighter. Come on.
Yeah,
Champion fighter for the 19 crit.
23 damage. Son of a fucking 23.
Hits.
Oh, we all sons of a fucking. We are. The input I gave would be irrelevant and stupid, so.
21 for the deck save.
Get me out of here.
That's it. 8 damage. Get him.
Okay.
Put you in a bucket of water.
As you start chopping into the Hellhound, one of the attacks you take one of the like front parts of the leg, you just clean off. Like it just comes off and it's like dangling by nothing but just some tendon, and it kind of does like a and starts to whimper. As it's like pushing weight down on it, you watch it actually like snap at the point where you got it, and then it just buries like the elbow part into the ground. So it's like kind of crooked, but still standing on like a platform of 4 legs kind of. It's just one of them's in half almost, and you can see it dangling backwards and blood spurting from it, and it's still kind of like and then like trying to slash out at you, but barely alive.
Weak ass number. Look how much I did.
Colonia is up.
What?
You called it.
Yeah.
He becomes stunned, or no longer stunned. End of your turn.
I should have put the booze wild down.
Botine.
Or 16 and 420.
29.
Hits.
11 damage.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the spot actually.
End of the turn.
That's a 20.
Fuck yeah, because another one.
Hey, 16 damage.
From a punch.
And then the 17 from the.
And then 17 followed.
Okay.
This dude on 3 natural 20s? Since you started playing him? That's more natural 20s
Just
than
start
his
just slamming
Start holding his
down
actions
onto
till
the
after your
ground.
attack so you can roll those dice.
Okay. Azrael's up. You can see both of them are hurting.
How many more stats if I do until dark red? Till you're gone? Yeah, like
Stack them up. You can could probably get 5 more.
I think like
19.
Want me to stun you?
Gonna dodge. So
poison you.
it goes to 14. This is
I could have poisoned you, but I lost it. Actually, I didn't have any of the poison.
Okay.
Bonus action. Come on. 22.
hits.
Damn, if you couldn't freeze me, I'd so be fucking dead.
Yeah, they're tanky.
9 damage.
On the,
They've been like
Alright.
on the
rounds.
downside too, I have to spend 8 hours to recharge.
Take the first swing and going like right for the head, and then you just watch it
Which we
kind of
will
like
have
drop
later,
down
but-
under it. You go to take the second swing and it does a sidestep, and with the second
Yeah.
swing you just kind of do this quick flourish before you slam the blade into it as it's sidestepping, and then pull it out as it slumps and crumples to the ground.
Momentum of pulling it out. It's going to do a tumble, roll over.
All right.
And trip.
And the Hellhound,
Right on the ice cube.
still focus on you. Just gonna take the attacks on you.
Tries to catch himself by jamming the spear
First
onto the
one,
ice
the
and it
14
goes.
to hit, the bite. Okay, and I'll just do the 4 rend attacks here. The lowest is a 23.
Whoa.
Ice shatters, kills everybody in the party.
That's why you see why I'm way back here.
First
That
one,
ice is up. It's dangerous.
19. Half to 9.
You got increased AC from haste still.
15, half to 7. 12, half to 6. 13, half to 6.
You're at the hit him harder.
Hit him with
Yeah,
psychic
good shit.
damage.
And then 4 con saves.
That's where you get your
Advantage.
fucking dice.
You don't have advantage.
One at a time. Or maybe 19.
Success.
Okay, so I took one failure.
It's a fail.
It's a fail.
It's a fail.
It's a bullshit. That's a
Bullshit.
Okay, so you're at 4 stacks right now.
Bro, I don't know where you
Drink a potion, maybe?
how many stacks you get to when you just die, but I'm telling you, it's 1 point. Probably 5, honestly. I think you might be dead.
You'll probably just take a lot of damage every
Free Zarbrex, can you switch it?
It actually doesn't do any damage.
I step out the ice and he steps
I
in.
don't know though.
Open the
You
crowd
just
door.
you just take -1 damage and attack, or 2 damage and attack rolls per stack. So you at a -4.
Stack and bleeds.
After
Pouring
the
from the eyes and
Hellhound-
ears.
Moldrack, you're up.
When it's
Or
minus
one that's
1.
alive?
Yep.
Okay.
He's on the verge of death. Sounds like a milestone.
Is he?
Not the verge of death, but
I started cutting off some limbs.
Okay. Alright. Yeah, I'll run over and I don't know, maybe we can maybe we can triple flank him? I don't know. Oh, I'm gonna
there.
run over to him and swing.
I'm there. That's
Yeah.
a quad flank.
That's a quad flank. No, he don't count right now.
Unfazed, so I count.
Yeah, it doesn't come back to me right now. Okay, so 2 18s for 32, 32, and 26 to hit.
Yep. For sure.
Uh, 11. Sorry, my brain farted. 14. 14 plus 27. I don't know what that is. 41? No.
Yep.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
All right.
And
That
then
killed it.
I'm going to take a bonus action, and I'm going to try to bite him in the neck.
The first one killed him.
Oh, damn it.
He's gonna bite him in the neck anyway.
I get health back if I do so.
The first swing you take, you just uppercut it extremely hard to where the neck kind of just rocks back, and then you just finish it with another swing to cause the neck to just rock side to side, and then you watch another burning of ash and fire as it disappears into the air. And then as you're looking more closely, you can see one just kind of like ember of flame that just slowly rolls back down and goes through the ground.
Now we have a battering ram ice cube for 1 hour.
Start putting out fires.
Well, it doesn't say anything about being able to melt the ice.
It's in combat. They gotta chill while we move forward. Everyone else pushes it.
Usually just like go through a whole round if there's anything anybody wanted to do, but there's nothing around you guys, so. Alright.
How much do superiors do?
8d4 plus 8.
I used mine. I think
Andrew said some.
everybody should have some superior healing potions. I don't know. I mean, you guys, it's so much quieter now. All right in there? Move your eyes up and down if you want to come out. Okay. I'm gonna, before I let him out, I'm gonna look around and see if I can kind of see anything through the smoke, like if there's anything else waiting for us or watching us.
Perception with disadvantage.
Okay. It'll be a straight roll for me
Okay.
then. 29.
29. You don't see much. It's more of what you hear. So you start to look in the smoke and then realize you're just trying to focus too hard on seeing. So you close your eyes for a moment and listen. You can hear all around like this kind of echoing, really not echoing, it's all dampened, but you can hear these like snapping of branches, this metal clanking, and you start to kind of narrow it down to directly in front of you. And what you hear and have heard several times is this kind of just low, bassy, bellowing kind of roar that seems to come out intermittently here and there. It's a voice that everybody heard pretty much commanding the hounds to get Ander, essentially, when they first popped out through here.
Okay.
Actually, they're kind of two different voices now that you're being able to perceive it better.
Okay.
The voice that you heard kind of commanding the hounds seemed to more emanate from inside your mind than it did out in front of you, but just the way everything is, it was hard to understand at one point. But now that you're listening, you can kind of hear this creature off in the distance that has this low kind of bassy bellow to it. And it seems to still be emanating from the northern part of where you're headed. And just based upon like your survival skills and everything, do you have the Outlander feature? Right?
I do, yeah.
Yeah, so you have a pretty decent map in your mind of how everything looks. You guys are pretty much right now at the southern end where the Howling Pond is, so you're not able to just like keep heading north. If you do, you'll probably hit the water at some point, but you're getting to a point where you're starting to have to kind of wrap around where the pond is because it connects to the Dread River, and the current there is like gnarly and shit, so you know that you're going to have to just kind of go up and around through the rest of the land there, through the forest. It starts to kind of open up when you get further north as well. But from where you are right now, you know that from where the actual portal is, you're still a good probably 2 days away from where that is. But you're assuming, just based on what's going on, that you guys are still going to be running into some stuff, and it's unclear where the actual like battlefront is currently.
Okay. All right. I put my hand up to the ice, and it begins to like crack and heat, and eventually becoming water. It runs off and pours, and Ander just kind of plops onto the ground.
Okay.
You good?
It was somehow warmer than when Skip locked me out of the house in my underwear.
Yeah.
You can still see he's pretty heavily scraped up, bleeding from some spots, little like trickle of blood that's on the side of his mouth that he wipes at. The jacket he has on is pretty tore up. I think Connor might have mending. I don't remember. I think he does. I don't know if he has a repair.
He does, yeah.
Yeah, so Connor's able to just fix your stuff. You still have just this uneasy feeling in your chest. When it comes to a hellhound, if you were to see one, you would be frightened of it, but other things you are not currently.
Yeah. That's how my D&D character PTSD do.
That's what it's all about. Mirroring real life.
You need to re-experience our travels.
Yeah. True.
And face them in a way that we can't in real life.
By running.
All right. I hear that same voice in that direction over there.
So we heading this way?
I don't know.
The opposite direction.
Do we take the time to rest for an hour, or do we just push on?
How's everybody else doing?
I mean, I'm okay. Connor's okay.
We got 1 point up.
Chelonia, I think, is somewhat injured. I don't know how you looking, Azrael. You good? I mean, they kind of only attacked you until we put you in an ice cube. So.
Yeah, I noticed that also when they were biting me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just breaks it as a bonus action for however many he wants.
He gets his key back if we take a short rest.
Okay, so
Key is a short rest return.
what is this necklace made of? It's logistics.
Beads.
It's not like an actual. They appear to be like beads, but it's more of like a energy that's trapped to form the shape of a bead.
Really white and in a pearl shape.
Like monk
No.
beads.
Does he have a pearl necklace on? Actually, not too bad off if we want to keep moving.
Okay.
Probably drink a potion or two or something to get me up.
How much healing would he get back if we did that?
So if we're 2 days away from the portal, we're getting rested. So.
Hmm?
If we're 2 days away from the portal, we're gonna
We still haven't rested from the ride here.
We are all exhausted.
Yeah.
Yeah, exhaustion.
I don't know. Maybe.
What time is it?
Hard to tell.
What time is it? Can I use my survival instincts to figure it out?
Yeah. What time exhaustion is?
Yeah, everybody.
We
should-
rolled before the fight or before last session, I think.
Oh wait, yeah, everybody succeeded. Nobody ended up getting it.
Yeah.
But like
we all
push it
rolled.
beyond. It's like beyond every probably like hour or so that you'll
Yeah.
push through or exerting yourself, doing some sort of task. You have to make a save every time.
So we only rolled once.
But also looking at your surroundings, you don't think it's going to be a very peaceful and fulfilling rest.
Yeah.
Doesn't really seem like a place that you can get a rest in. Can't find fucking
Maybe we had. Well, I don't know.
86.
Either we head forward and we're gonna fight more, or we head back a little bit to try and get a decent rest.
Not opposed to a rest right now.
Yeah, you can spend an hour tending to your wounds.
We could just do. Yeah, we could do a short rest and then head forward and.
How do I get rid of this bleeding?
Did you use a potion?
Yeah.
Okay. If you healed for every 5 points, you'd get rid of a stack. The whole thing's gone?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think it's fine if we need to take a breather for a minute, but we can keep pushing forward.
Down for a short
Okay.
rest.
All right. That's fine.
We don't have the luxury of time here.
No, you're right. We should head forward.
I'm gonna spend my time resting, so I'm doing alright, so I'm just gonna, during that hour, still staying within, like, earshot if we can. Or, like,
Yeah,
not
we're
really
resting.
yell for anything, hear each other, I'm just gonna, like, walk around a little bit.
204, almost out full.
Is Azrael rolling dice or no?
No, he's
Okay, so you're good to walk around and do whatever and be looking around.
I'm gonna roll some for Connor as well. He's not. Does he have like a? Oh, cool.
How long does your rage last?
He regains 4
So
souls.
that would go away.
So he's down to.
How long does the haste last?
He's got 3 used. That's good.
Go away too.
I don't want to waste the arcane restoration potion yet. He's only down to 98. So
You guys are kind right to the
yeah,
Yeah.
Edricon. 10 plus.
At least I think so. I know you do it for level ups. I don't know if you do it.
Connor's at full.
Let me double check here because I think.
I don't think you had anything to hit dice.
When you roll, I thought you added your con.
For each hit dice spent, the player rolls the die and adds the con modifier.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yep. So you roll them like individually, and then just keep adding.
Yeah.
I have not done that this entire campaign.
To be fair, we don't normally do this.
The few times that we have, okay? 9 times 3 is 27.
Did Connor roll any?
You did. You used one.
Okay. Shalani use any?
Yeah, I used 10.
Moldrak used 2 as well.
9.
9. Andrew, how many did you use?
9.
Okay.
More
We need
what?
another short rest.
Oh, yeah, that's really it. We get half back on a long rest.
Mhm.
So if we're like fighting all day for multiple days, then it's gonna be a little bit rougher. But that might be what we have to do. Yeah, Connor has some arcane restoration potions too, so we can get some low level spell slots back. But I didn't want to waste it because it also does healing. So. All right, let's keep heading forward, and I'll start leading in the direction that I know the forest starts to curve around the pond, north.
Okay, so you guys begin traveling once more. You can definitely tell, like right where you're walking through right now, is dense enough with smoke to where you're going to have to stay pretty close together, kind of within earshot and being able to look around. There are moments when you start walking to also like a marching order. I'm assuming Moldrak, you're going to have to lead the way here. How long does the resistance last?
It was just a minute.
Okay, so that's
Yeah, it's gone.
all right. Everybody's-
Kind of want.
How do we want to do this?
I kind of want Ander in like the middle between me and Czar or whatever. Yeah.
You guys can probably walk through like this.
Oh yeah, that works. That's good.
As you're pushing through, you're just kind of intermittently looking back and right and making sure everybody's still there. And there are moments where, with the smoke kind of covering around you, some of you are pulling up face masks just to not be inhaling the dense smoke. But it kind of breaks up. Like there's points where there's fire that's emanating from it and causing more smoke to roll up from those directions. Like maybe a tree that's knocked down and fire that's rolling across the top of it, causing the smoke to occur. And like the ground itself, where even though it's a very kind of damp and humid atmosphere, this is kind of the colder time of the year, so all of the moisture that would usually sit within a lot of the moss and vines and weeds on the ground isn't really there, so it's able to catch fire a little better. And then the spots where that stuff is on fire, the smoke is just rolling off of that because of all the leaves and such in the material, as opposed to a tree.
Any close flames, just as we're walking, I'm going to use control flame and just like snuff them out as
Okay.
we're going and just try to stop the spread as much as I can.
Okay. The smoke is still prevalent as you're pushing forward to where you are able to see a little bit more, but you are not completely in the clear. Like your vision so far is kind of limited. I mean, you probably can't see more than 40 to 50 feet in front of you at any given time. There's some spots where you can see kind of a clear cut through and you're able to see a little bit better. But you've kind of almost hit this point where after about 3 hours of traveling, everybody needs to make another con save. And at this 3 hour mark, you can see over in the distance, like this tree line that's surrounding the pond itself. and you can see kind of around it in some spots, some of those trees have fallen over into the pond and are kind of broken in there. And there's almost like this steam that's rolling up off of the top of the pond where the trees that were on fire kind of fell into. The pond itself, this time of year, is frozen over for the most part. So where the tree fell through, kind of broke open the ice, and you can see the water there.
Who's going
But
to be
now you
utilizing
guys,
skills more, though?
Yes, first.
All right. That's probably not
What'd you
going
get for
to
that?
save me.
12 and 15.
Don't tell him for 6 seconds, then I'll tell you to do it.
The 12's a fail.
Just kidding.
It's just a point of exhaustion.
Connor got an 18, and I got a 10.
That's a fail on the 10.
Alright.
It's a fail on the 13. Okay.
I'm going to sleep.
So with the 1 point, I believe you just have disadvantage on ability checks.
Yeah.
Personal trait, exhausted.
It's true to real life.
I believe so.
What?
I think it is considered one because you get.
Initiatives and ability check.
Yeah.
Get this way.
Well, I get advantage, so it evens out.
All right.
Good for you, 'cause I'm about to sleep.
Also, plus 8.
Pushing forward, you get to the kind of west side of the pond, more towards the southwestern portion of it, to where you can see now there are. For a second, you look and you see like 1 or 2 trees that look like they're just moving like across, and you start to look and try to focus in a little bit better at it. And then once you get a little bit closer, you notice that the trees are actually moving. They have these kind of long arms that are very long, kind of twig branch-like arms. They're probably standing close to 15 or so feet tall. You can see as they're standing this tall that they're kind of moving about and reaching down into the ground and kind of grabbing things and slamming them down into the earth in front of them. You can see a lot of smaller individuals, humanoid type individuals behind them that are moving around pretty frantically as well. Where you're starting to walk over to, you start to kind of pick up your pace to catch up to where it is. And as you get close enough, you can see that there are probably close to 50 or so elven, like kind of Venore soldiers here, along with maybe half a dozen of these tree ents. You can see some of the tree ents have these huge scorch and like cinder marks on their shoulders. Some of them have like these huge splits on their faces where part of the branch is like broken off. Some of them are missing portions of their arm that seem to be like slowly kind of growing back, and all they're really doing is grabbing just chunks of earth on the ground beneath them and starting to pile it up and make this sort of a choke point. It's probably still close to 2 or 3 miles long that you can see them kind of spanning across. And as you're looking at this small section that you're near with the half dozen or so and the 50 troops, it's more and more that are actually going across this length of kind of barricade here. And you can see that they're just kind of slamming down rock. They're just like picking it up, building trenches on the other side, grabbing smaller trees, not quite redwood trees, and kind of snapping those down and breaking them to start making some sort of barriers essentially, and then smaller bridges that they're starting to set perimeters up and around. Further down the barricade is harder to see just because of all the smoke that is kind of occurring. And you just, like I said, see the soldiers frantically moving about, working on the barricade. And it's very obvious that they're setting up for something that could possibly break through and come this way. But that's what you're looking at.
All right, well,
Got it.
do we help here, or do we push on past this and try to find the front?
Push, and then if it's bad, we can fall back here.
Okay. Well, let's keep heading. Maybe they know, where the front of this is. We can go ask them. We'll start heading over to find somebody frantically running around.
Got it. There's probably small little like pockets of people, I guess is how I would put it, like the guards, along with maybe a couple of treants that are in these small areas just working on this barricade. Right now, you're walking up closer to the pond edge of where the barricade is. You can see a couple of these soldiers. One of them is like sitting, leaning up against the barricade itself, like holding a water skin, like uncorking it and drinking it. And then you can see him like dripping the last bit of it into there. And then somebody walking around with what appears to be a larger basin of water that he's just like scooping it into to refill. Slumped over kind of to himself. You see a couple of other individuals who are still kind of diligently working. Many of them are grabbing kind of bushels of arrows that they're walking over to the edge of the barricade and stacking up against the side to where you can see that there's not a ton of resources that they have here, but there's a good amount to where they're able to kind of prepare for whatever it is coming their way. One of them, taking notice to you guys making your way up, just kind of turns and looks as he's holding a bushel of arrows in his hand. You're the help they sent. That's it?
We've sent word back for more assistance, but we are the keepers. We're here to help.
Yeah, we know who you are.
You want to point us in the direction of where we're most needed?
I'm not even sure how to make sense of most of this. Everything's just been happening so fast, and it feels like we've been here forever. He slams the bushel of arrows down, begins to push his hair back, and push the sweat away from his brow, even though it's in the colder season. You can still see him kind of like sweating. He has like a very pale look to his face. Definitely looks like he's going through some shit right now. Never seen anything like it. All of it. I can't even tell you how many different demons we saw and faced. I'm just glad to be alive. So many of us were killed out there trying to meet the front, and a couple of the captains, some of them made it, some of them didn't. And people were pretty much getting promoted on the battlefield. Too many people lost. We decided to just run back here and try and make a barricade to give ourselves some sort of an advantage. I know there's still people out there fighting. At least trying to. He kind of looks down, looking defeated.
You guys keep doing what you're doing. If it's needed, barricades will be important.
I think they will be. They're all dead. At least all of the ones that were protecting that portal there. That temple. Should have just broke it and destroyed it. But what do I know?
It's destroyed now. Hold out hope yet, soldier. I know it's easier said than done, but we'll do everything we can.
I was talking a couple of people like push past you, holding more bushels, setting them against the side.
The front, the fighting, which that way.
Only about half a day. Yeah.
All right.
Be careful though. There's still some things wandering around out in between.
We'll deal with them. Keep fortifying. We're gonna try and, I don't know, guys. I think it's smart to try and bring as many people back to these barricades as we can and make some sort of a stand here. All right. What was the captain's name that we were traveling with? Silamir?
Well, Silamir was the village leader for Ogier Place, but yeah, he's the one that's heading back to us on word.
We sent word with Silamir, if you're familiar with them, back to Venore to send for more troops. So
hopefully they ride fast.
If they have them to spare, reinforcements will be coming. We're gonna go. We don't want to waste any more time.
All right.
big one.
Oh, Cordelia. Is that who you're talking about? Battle Priestess? Pretty sure it's Cordelia. I believe so. Might be somebody else.
What was
Her
this
name is
lady?
different. You're talking about the one of Cabraxis, right? Battle Priestess.
Oh yeah.
I think it's Cordelia. That sounds right. I know. I'm in the same boat as you right now. Cause
Just describe her without saying her name. See if you've seen her.
just no, I haven't.
Do you want to use the mirror? Okay. I'll pull it. You could probably just use it as we walk too. So I'll pull that out, and you can see if you can find her somewhere.
Start marching down when I use it. Just try on her.
Okay. Man, that's gonna bother me. Did you write her name down anywhere?
I don't think I was here when you met her, so I don't have any notes about her.
I'm almost positive that's where it is. Anyways, as you guys begin walking, you cross over pretty much what is a berm that has been built all down the length of this, and begin to walk into pretty much the unknown at this point. You have a general idea of things you could face and what is waiting ahead of you, but once you get through here, there's just kind of no telling what you're going to really run into. Like I said, you have a general idea. But as you're looking into the mirror and scrying in it, you can see the Battle Priestess just carving through demon after demon, fighting side by side with a couple of the other Paladins of Cabraxis that you saw. And you see in the surroundings that she's in, that there are kind of wooden structures that are kind of fallen over and burnt. A couple of things around there that indicate it to be Grunswick to some degree. You don't really think that she's thus kind of this far over, but she's kind of fighting her own fight there and seems to be pushing through whatever encampment or something that they may have built there when they burnt it pretty much to the ground. But she seems to have her hands pretty full there too, and along, like I said, with the other Paladins of Cabraxis.
I don't know how the mirror specifically works. Can other people see this as well?
Mhm.
Okay.
I had the bag as we're walking. Are all the Brunswick still fighting?
Blood moon of the 80th year of my ass. It's here now.
Mail earlier than expected.
Just charging on forward. Walking towards the sound of battle.
Okay. As you start pushing forward, you get to probably like the 2 or so hour mark, and you know that you're probably going to have to travel like a good 8 or so just to get to where you need to be. And you guys are this first like hour, you're feeling the drag on you, and the exhaustion. But you also know that you're really not going to be able to just sleep where you are right now, and you just keep kind of pushing forward. That 2 hour mark that you hit, you run across what you can see is probably a dozen or so elven kind of guard, like soldiers. Some of them are wounded on the ground. The other ones are kind of forming this like half circle protection around them. And then as you start to walk up, 2 or 3 of them, from the south, they turn around and start to face you. And then you can see some of them drawing arrows and getting ready. One of them actually like lets one loose and it flies in that direction. And then Chelonia just kind of like grabs it and throws it down onto the ground. And then you start to walk up. Who are you? And then someone's like, it's the Keepers.
We're here
They're
to
here to
help.
save us. Quick, somebody, please. And they start to kind of point back over to where some of the soldiers are kind of on the ground.
Yeah, we'll run over.
Yeah, you can see 2 or 3 of them are on these like ramshackle, like just rigged up stretchers in a way. They're kind of like 2 long sticks and some sort of weave of fabric underneath that they've got 2 or 3 of these individuals on. Once you get closer, you realize there's 3. One of them is just missing a leg, and is just like rolling in and out of consciousness. Like does not seem like he'll make it. And the other two, you can see one has just like this broken off blade piece in his midsection, and then the other one has just this deep gash on his shoulder to where like he's kind of sitting up, but he's holding it, and you can just kind of see him like rolling in and out. They have some bandage over it, but it's just saturated and just bleeding through. The individual with the leg kind of off, you can see that there's like a little bit of soot and such around it, as well as some of the skin that's there seems to have been like burnt to the leg only about halfway, and he's just like not sitting well. But the one behind, you've got to help them. We're just trying to get back to Venore. We can't do anything out here. There's no way.
All right.
We're all gonna die.
It's
Okay. You watch Azrael start kneeling down and walking over. The first individual you come on is the one with his shoulder tore up, and you heal it to the point where he's like able to kind of move the shoulder, but you can see he's still like in pain. Reaches up with the wounded one to your elbow and kind of like taps. A little bit of blood gets on your elbow from him, but he just kind of gives a nod and a tap like thank you. One of them walks over and gives him some water as you walk over to the next, who has the blade just like sticking in his stomach. It's broken off enough to where you can grab part of it, but as you kind of reach down, you're almost like knowing not to rip it out like right away, but just being prepared to heal it as it comes out. So Moldrak or Chelonia or somebody walking over pulls the blade out, and he lets out like a ugh! And then you with your hand pull over to it and push down. You can see blood kind of spurts in between your fingers and gets on the side of your face a little bit, and then you push with both hands, the blue energy emanating from your hands onto the wound as it heals over a bit. He kind of coughs a little, blood comes up from that, again spewing some of it onto your chest. You can see blood splatters, but he seems to be like awake enough to where he's not just gonna go silently. You turn over to the third individual, and by the time you've made it to him and go to like reach down, you can see that he's just like half-eyed opened, and then you just like reach over and feel towards his neck and does not have a pulse.
if you can make it, it's about an hour or so back to a larger group. They should be able to point you in the direction of Venore. They have some supplies, but other than that, just try to head, and I kind of point it's that way.
As you turn and like kind of point, you hear this kind of like, and then turn around and can see 2 or 3 of those blood demons are like jumping up towards you guys. You can see one of them has a huge cut in its chest and it's just like charging forward. They're all like jumping and lunging at everybody. Zarvax, you kind of turn and see one just like right here instantly, and just take the axe and just bury it up towards the chest.
I yell to
do you want to make an attack?
soldiers, go! Get out of here now!
4 of them are grabbing like each cot. There's 2 of them that are left trying to pick up the one just body that's there, and you see them just like struggling to lift this guy up.
Leave him!
And then they just kind of drop, turn, and start running. The other 2 that are jumping, one of them actually lands onto the body of the individual whose leg was amputated. Kind of, you hear this like crunch, and then you just reach and slam, swinging forward. So to you guys, what you want to do with the 3 that just ran up at you?
Roll a 21.
Okay, go ahead and roll damage.
33 to hit.
You just kind of pretty much just take a round of attacks really quick if you want, or if you want to do, you can ready it and attack.
If I have an extra thing
Right.
before, hell yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
28? Yeah, the 3, like these ones, the blood demons, the red. Oh.
17.
They had a whole round of attack?
A whole round of attack.
Yep.
Fuck.
This is gonna.
That's a crit.
Fuck yeah.
Jared's like, go fuck yourself.
I crit too. How's that
Yeah,
make you feel?
save some crits for the rest of
crit too.
us.
17. It makes me feel good. Oh, I don't have to roll.
I got 2 hits.
All of these hits.
don't accept. Even if Billy told me they didn't hit, I wouldn't believe him.
Mm-hmm.
So is it 25 hit?
I'll let you know in a second. 25 hits, 17 misses.
Okay, I got a 33 and a 26 to hit.
Both hit.
First one needs to make a strength save. As we get into battle, the rocks just magneto to my hammer. And I'm raring to go.
My second swing did 105 damage.
Jesus.
Unraging.
That's so awesome. Oh, fuck yeah.
That's a storm charge, baby.
He's already dead. Man, why's Connor up at the front? Oh, they came from that way?
Yeah, they came from this, not from like where you pointed.
Right.
So like you started to point
Yeah.
this way, and they just kind of charged in this direction.
Gotcha.
Actually, this would be more appropriate back here. And then Connor would have been like here and here, kind of towards the back more. Solonia probably actually would have been hereabouts. And then they just kind of charged forward. The one that jumped at you, just right at the midsection, you just take like that first swing and just catch it there and just like power through to where like lightning arcs off of the back, and it just like in two halves, like the body goes this way, legs go this way, and it just tumbles around. What'd you do damage wise? Okay. Is that doubled? I don't know if it's doubled for them. It is doubled for them, so 12. Okay. Ender, are you attacking any of them?
60 damage.
To which one?
Fuck. But
This one?
Yep.
Okay. And you're hitting this one?
I hit whatever one was on the body.
Yep, this one.
Okay, so it was 26 bludgeoning for the first one,
Okay.
and then strength save.
12.
He's prone. Sweep his legs out from under him as he goes to leap onto the body. I'll roll again just to see if I get a natural 20. Oh, but
Did they
damage
just
for that
did they
one.
just run up on us and we got the surprise round?
I'm still doing that. I'm going to do the damage to you guys afterwards, but...
And then 24 points of bludgeoning damage for the second one.
24. Okay.
Fast happen and transforming. Do like a slice behind him. Kind of not accurate enough.
Yeah. So I've got 27, 29 to hit you.
Okay, man, I was just
So
kidding.
I'm going
So
to reaction
19
swing at
points
the
of
one that
slashing.
hits Azrael.
So I have
Oh,
and then 2 to hit you from this guy are
that guy's gonna make a strength save.
The guy I knocked on the ground?
The other guy.
okay.
Well,
Give me
it's
1
still
second.
Yeah.
Just remember to give me 1
one
second.
thing at a time.
18 and 24 for those 2 attacks against you.
So the guy
The guy
knocked-
that like when they first came up,
Okay.
like swinging at you.
Yeah, 18 does not hit. And what did you say for that?
24.
24 does hit me.
Okay, so then that'll be 14 points of slashing damage.
Okay, and I'm also swinging as my reaction at the one that hit Azrael.
Okay.
14. Okay, so
7 for strength save.
Failed. He's prone.
Okay.
oh, fuck. That means I get advantage.
Moldrak, dude.
26 to hit.
Okay. Yep, that'll hit.
Guy on the ground. Oh yeah. 14 plus 9. 23 plus 9. 32 points of bludgeoning damage to the one on the that Andrew just knocked over.
Yeah. Okay. So easy enough. Them already being kind of wounded as they run up on you guys. Zarvex just cleaves one of them in half. The body kind of tumbles around, and then the 2 that are like jumping forward
Fastest combat in the West.
take 2 slashes, like slashing out just frantically. The one gets slammed in the chest with a card that erupts and causes it to just like almost magnet to the ground. And then the swing that you take back just hits it up towards like the neck and causes it to fall down. And then you just take a follow up and then Azrael takes the blade and starts stabbing into the one on the ground.
Yeah.
And then Trelawney kind of just like gets ready to run over and help, but between Ander just like chucking cards at the one on the ground and you pummeling the other one and Azrael stabbing, Zarvex runs over and even though they're dead, just like slams axe in both of their chests.
Because we'll use the rage.
That's just pure adrenaline, not even rage,
Oh
baby.
shit.
All right, and the guards you can see running towards the south.
We'll kill
They're
them
still within distance. They're still within like distance where you can see them, and they're kind of making their way back towards that front.
I can't say that was unexpected. We should keep pushing. Probably in the direction they came from.
Spend a 5 hour to give a dead guy myself. Catch up that slice.
Got it.
Alright, lead the way. Towards where they, the demons just came from.
All right, you guys start moving in that direction, kind of in whatever order you wish.
Hopefully it's like Count Dooku's lightsaber and not Obi-Wan Kenobi's stuff.
Right next to my back.
Okay.
I'm ready to fight anything at any time.
No complaints with this walking
No,
order?
I think that's good.
I physically use words because I'm so focused on killing shit.
You got it.
Quiet the whole time.
All right, you keep pushing forward. As I said, in this area, the smoke is just not as much. You notice as the more like east you get towards the water, the smoke isn't as heavy, and also if you go towards the west, towards the like Sea of Souls area, like in that ocean side, the smoke is not as heavy as well, just because of it being able to quickly dissipate outward, and the wind and kind of breeze that's coming off of the waterfront causes the smoke to push away a little bit. So you're kind of in a much clearer path, essentially, of like being able to see what is ahead of you. The demons that you just encountered are not the last, you're sure of it. There are a couple that you can see over towards the sides that are just kind of like running and moving about. There's even one where you can see as you're starting to like walk up, this is probably a good maybe 3 hours of traveling to where you're kind of getting towards the portion of where you believe the battlefront, or we're told it is to be. Once you're getting to this point of 3 hours, before this would have occurred though, I need everybody to make con saves again.
13.
Okay, that's so
That's a fail.
much better than last time.
I'm dead, dude.
See
Josh
if,
in 2, I'm dead.
let's see if Connor succeeds here.
Where you at?
Also fails.
Muldrak got a 20. Connor got a 14.
Okay, we went to sleep.
14's a fail.
We're sleeping. Right now. Laying on the ground. Right here.
Also, just so everybody knows, exhaustion's a condition, so if you have things that get rid of it, you can use those. Just an FYI.
Great rejuvenation potions.
Potion. Does it say it gets rid of conditions?
No.
I don't remember if it does or not. I think it just heals you like a dot.
Cla-
No,
classic
because
pocket monk
the
right
super
there. Classic
expensive
pocket
one was
monk.
like the one that like cured diseases and conditions and stuff.
Got it.
We used that one. I was gone.
I believe, like if you do a lay on hands type of deal.
Did you see what he sent at me?
What
3
is it?
fucking
3 down there.
bloodhounds that were a fucking 400
I think it
HP
might say
each.
remove a condition. I can't remember.
More damage.
I do too much damage. That's why he keeps trying to kill me, man.
You couldn't even kill a bloodhound.
Neither could you guys.
It's fine. I got no more ice
It's kind of
cubes,
crazy.
so
We put you in an ice cube, and all of a sudden they start dying. So
it's crazy.
I
I
think
wasn't hitting him in the
I
first
think
place.
you being around was busted.
I was only doing damage half the time anyways.
Same. Actually, none of the time I was doing damage.
Uh-huh.
Maybe I should hit him.
We need to have a keeper meeting. We're gonna schedule it for a time where you're busy.
This Andrew guy, he might be next. Skip that Andrew. Just
Andrew,
saying.
come in, sit down.
We need to talk.
Okay.
Unfortunately, last week we had the least.
Two.
Get me out of the house.
If you're at 2, your speed is halved.
I thought that was 3.
3 is disadvantage on attack rolls.
Before I go, Zarvrik said
So
Muldrak
1
was a
disadvantage
bitch.
on ability
And I just-
checks, 2 speed
gotta serve the
speed's
drama
half,
before I leave
3 is
us.
disadvantage on attack rolls and saving
We
throws.
might need to rest, guys. Even if it's not restful, getting rid of these exhaustions might be
But at this point, as you're walking, you can see what appears to be probably like 4 or 5 people running towards you. 2 or 3 of them appear to be like essentially guards.
This is where Andrew's at.
You just have to slow the pace.
Yeah.
He's got 12 movement.
12.5.
So here are the people kind of running in your direction.
They're all dead.
They're all appearing to be elven guards, besides maybe 1 or 2 of them. They're not Uruk-hai. And you see behind them, it's hard to see at first because it's just kind of like so thin of a creature, but you start to hear this kind of like, and you can see bones that are kind of rattling and charging towards the individuals.
Bone double? Fuck. Dude, no shot, Billy.
You watch him leap onto the back of the one that's directly in the back. The tail reaches over and slams into the upper part of the shoulder, buried deep enough to actually pick him up, and then he digs his arms into the middle part of the chest where they break out the side and attempts to like pull apart, but isn't able to, and then reaches his hands back, causing it to
This guy lives, he
slam
becomes a
onto
keeper.
the ground.
That guy. He's a keeper if he
He
lives.
said if he, now he's dead.
Oh, shit.
After he buries his hands and claws into the chest and then pulls back, and the creature, or the elf, falls from the tail, he just kind of like looks out and starts to, and then starts to charge up behind these ones as well. So I'm gonna fix where you guys were because the pace would have
I
just
don't
slowed.
think that noise that you just made.
That's what they sound like.
Very consistently is what they've sounded like.
Sounded like you were moving your lips like vertically.
What?
What does that mean?
Like, imagine somebody's mouth is going like this. And they're like, it's
I don't know. I don't get it either.
I sometimes wonder how you function.
Holy shit. All I do is turn my head this way. Okay, so if you guys go ahead, roll initiative.
Connor.
So wait, initiative is an ability check?
Yeah, so you're disadvantage.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, shit.
You good?
I got a natural 20!
No.
With disadvantage?
With disadvantage because I normally have advantage.
Oh, no.
All right. Anybody
hate this
more
game.
than 20?
Hey, try
21.
try a different category.
I just gotta stop rolling 3 dice. That's my
That's the
problem.
key.
20 to 15.
Connor got 17.
Okay. 15 to 10.
10.
13.
Wait, Connor got 17?
17, yeah.
Hold on.
He's got higher dex than your guy. So.
Okay, what was the 15 to 10 again? You got what? 15 to 10?
10.
13 and 10.
Well,
You
I
could
got
just give me 13
Yeah,
also if you
I
want.
got 13.
Sure, you can have 13. Just kidding. You get
I was
12.
like, then
You
I
get
go
12.
before him. That's
You get 12.
toxic.
10 to 5.
Damn. Rough out
All
here.
right, Zarbax, go ahead and start it off.
I'll be going in my natural one though.
I can't even get to him because my speed's half.
Well, he'll be like right here because he ran up behind these guys. So I don't know if you can still. I don't know if you.
You got 20
20?
feet. Billy's going to take the longest
5,
way.
10,
You should
15,
calculate it on
20.
your own. He's going to start from there and go around the
I'm
rock.
just charging right at him.
Yeah,
from
you
between the
just
guys.
start screaming at him, and there's this split second where the elves that are running away from the demon are unsure of who to be more afraid of. So they kind of like hesitate, and then they're like, "Oh fuck!" and they get out of your way as you just start charging forward.
I'm just gonna attack recklessly.
All the elves.
Yo, do your whirlwind attack.
Doesn't have any.
Damn it.
You got rid of that ability?
Damn it.
He moved on for Call Lightning.
Son of a fucking
I
bitch.
feel like you keep using those purple ones and they just never work.
They were the ones I rolled the 220s on.
Oh, well.
19 misses.
Oh shit.
Okay, you got another one. You're not hasted anymore, though.
I know. 29.
Hits.
This guy's probably hella dexterous, right?
35
Damage?
damage. And he needs to make a dexterity saving throw.
Oh, shit. Let's see. Well, we're going to see if they're hella dexterous right now.
The Bone Devils. I don't remember.
14.
Fail.
Oh, shit.
12 zap damage.
That was a low roll. They probably rolled like a 2.
Alright.
Natural one, but didn't want to toss.
Yeah.
You run up and take the axe and just slam it forward. Some of the bones on the chest on the first hit, you feel it when you impact it, like, oh, like this is bone that I'm hitting. Like you don't see flesh anywhere on it. And it's more like boneful. There's no less. It's all
Flesh.
bone.
Can I get a
slam into the
boneless
chest
thing?
and then realize that there's really no muscle or anything there, and you're just kind of like almost like a quick bounce off. Then you just take another swing and slam it up into the shoulder where there's a little bit of muscle there and like flesh, but it's more of just like skin just draping off. And when you slam and hit into it, it kind of just rattles into the side and lets out another like as it falls over to the edge. Every opportunity I get now.
I was looking at your face while you did it. It still seemed unnatural.
I'm gonna go like this. Okay. The bone, or yeah, that's your turn, right?
Boneless devil.
All right, the bone demon now. After facing you, it's going to do its horrendous presence.
Nah.
It takes its hands outward. Man, I can't do this fucking sound.
Do it. Do the sound.
As it has its hands out, just kind of like a holding outward.
Wow.
You see what should be like wings floating off the back and the sinew there. Everything just kind of like reverberates. So everybody needs to make a wisdom saving throw.
Dude, why did that sound like your lips were vertical, dude? That's crazy.
You got some
So you're
vertical
immune.
lips, Billy.
Yeah, you're immune.
What is it?
Wisdom save. Wait, what's your wisdom scores first? Sorry.
Plus 1.
18?
Oh,
So you don't
score?
have to make it.
Oh, okay.
12.
12? You guys have to make it.
Connor's
20?
at,
You're good.
Connor's at 14.
Connor has to make it.
Okay, he got
Oh,
a
you're good.
20 total.
He's good.
I
Okay.
quit, man. I
Andrew,
don't want
what'd
to play
you
this. I don't want to play anymore.
What'd you get?
6.
Okay, you're frightened.
Wow.
He's already got the.
Yeah, I was already.
Okay.
It's cool. He's got the card.
I'm running away. I'm running away.
In real life, you packing a bag, running away.
I already got my
Mom,
bag
don't
packed.
call my phone.
Planning for this.
I'm running away. I'll be
Okay.
back home at dinner time.
Connor's up.
That's my purse.
Okay. I don't know. All right. I don't know if this is gonna be. We're gonna start off with Luntari's Light.
You like that one?
It's just super easy, and I want to know if like Radiant doesn't work because there's something else I can do that's like way stronger. Total of 22.
To hit?
Yeah.
Hits.
Okay.
I understand how Norm ended up doing this.
Fine.
Yeah, dude. I did.
Dude,
I
this
did
is
fucking on it too.
This is dumb, dude.
19 points of Radiant.
19?
Yeah. I don't know if you.
All right. He takes his hand and kind of shoots it forward to where this rod of energy flies and slams clean through the chest, kind of like one of the ribs, burns a hole in it to where part of that rib actually just falls off onto the ground, and it goes clean through, leaving that kind of scorched, cauterized burn into the body, indicative that it is vulnerable.
Good to know. Good
You
to
said
know.
19?
Yep. 19. Yeah. Yeah. That's correct. He's gonna take a few steps back too, probably like 10 feet.
to be using Bertha, but it gets me exhausted when I use it, so I'm gonna pass on that.
Okay. I think you can handle 3 points.
Doesn't get real bad until 4.
Just use like Bertha Light. Like it's not so exhausting.
Moldrak, you're up.
Okay, I'm actually want to move Connor back like 10 feet.
Okay.
No, actually, I'm gonna stay where he is.
Do we actually like stay there with us being exhausted? Like in the middle of everyone?
Everybody would have like.
Can
they
I
probably were in the
get-
back, and everybody just slowed down. Is what would have happened.
Can I get up in there with these soldiers running away?
How far do you have movement wise?
40. I'm not. I only have 1
Oh,
exhaustion.
yeah. You can like kind of swing around to the side here.
I'm just gonna, as I'm running, go get out of here. We'll take this creature on. 24 and a 32.
Both hit.
Strength save.
Uh, 18.
Makes it. Another strength save. Damage from the first one. 26 points of bludgeoning. Damage from the second one. Not nearly as much. 5. 14 points of bludgeoning.
All right.
Did you make another save for the second attack?
17.
That's my DC. No. I did do it, and it does seem to do more.
All right. After Moldrak, Andrew's up.
Run away! You can attack. You just have
just don't move.
Then
disadvantage.
Chelonia, then you.
Remember that fight we had with that dragon last right? Roll against this one.
Oh, that's a good one. I think.
I'm gonna hit teleport to the target. If I hit him with that card, does it do damage? Fuck him. I'm hitting him with it.
Okay.
If I hit. What if I miss? Throw it behind him and teleport behind him? We'll never see that one coming. First attack.
Goes into the lake.
How tanky could a bone devil be? Sharpshooter.
A lot of milk.
He needs some milk.
It's 16 to hit.
Misses.
Okay. Non-sharpshooter. 31 to hit.
Hits.
The stark difference.
I did
16
roll,
with
I did roll a
sharpshooter.
6 and then a fucking 30. Or 6 and then a 16.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm rolling it like it matters. 19.
Misses.
This guy, dude.
Not a sharp.
I think the only one that's hit so far is the teleport card. So I might just teleport him and
still does damage though.
kill me. 21.
Actually, I'm sorry, you can't throw the teleport card to him because you're frightened of him, so you won't actively move closer to him. And you know what your teleport card does.
That's a fair point.
I
So
throw it
we'll
to
say
the
that
keep.
it misses.
Yo.
Oh, that's a whole concept.
I'm with you guys until that lands.
Go guard. He's out in the
Last
middle of the
one
howling
is
pond.
a 25.
Hits. So 3 hit.
2.
2.
Guys. Plus 3.
7.
5.
Alright.
I'll go down and launch the potion back, teleport away. Hang on last second.
God dang. Doing damage.
Did some damage.
18 plus 14. 32. Oh, fuck.
I believe in you. 32.
32 dice damage. And then
Okay.
28. Oh. I'm fucking stupid.
Modifier
That's 60. 60 damage.
Yeah.
60 damage total.
You got there.
I got
It's the result that matters.
I'm too tired for math.
Use a calculator. Your phone.
All right.
Too much pride to use the calculator for fucking addition. Come on. What am I, a fucking 5-year-old?
You start throwing the cards. You're yelling as you're throwing them.
You tell me, bud.
You get the teleport card. Where are you throwing it?
I told you to keep. No, I'll throw it to this rock. Top the rock. Top the key. Go.
All right. After
Swallow
Ander,
that.
Talonia.
Smoke dissipated.
Ander, make a wisdom save. Where you guys are right here, it's a lot less than it has been like before. Because you're, like I said, you're kind of like in this bit of a more narrow area, and the trees aren't as much, so there's less shit that's on fire.
You go
Essentially,
to throw your.
but you can see in the
teleport card and a
distance that
bird
there's
grabs.
another like spot where it's more than where you are right now. No.
Or is it?
Come on, high roll.
16.
Misses.
Low as bone.
Whoa.
What was a bone?
Both hit.
That's 2 keys. I'm going to do a stunner.
All right.
Stun him.
8 plus 8, 16 damage total.
Concept.
Can you juggle?
Cholonia walks over.
No.
And sees you guys just kind of like swinging, slicing at him. Cholonia actually, the Bone Demon has like one of his legs almost at like a 90 degree as he's kind of bent down. Cholonia jumps up off of that and then goes straight down the spine on the back and just starts like hitting a bunch of points on it, being able to see much more clearly where all of the nerves and everything go through the body. You watch the Bone Demon go like completely like stiff outward and then crumple, and all of the bones just like break apart to where it's just a pile
He's
of
dead.
bone on the ground.
Wait, he's dead.
He's dead.
Wait, he's
Whoa.
dead. What did you just do?
Disabled.
That was the weakness.
And these guys are just kind of like running.
I'd run too. That dude just one-tapped a fucking bone devil like it was nothing.
And continue to run.
Only just stands there and shrugs his shoulders.
No HP, or did Talonia just like break all his chakras simultaneously?
Very, very low HP.
Let's
You wouldn't
go.
have to spend that key. I should have told you that he was super low.
This rock looks like a sick place to sleep.
Oh, it's looking
Do you roll
better
another
by
wisdom
the
save?
minute.
What?
Roll another wisdom save. End of your turn.
For what?
No, for the frightened, to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I'm on your team.
He's trying to
I'm
help
not on
you
your
get
team. I'm trying to kill you.
unfrightened deed.
Why does it matter? He's gone.
Because if you see another bone devil, you're gonna run away.
Exactly.
I don't love it.
Give
Alright,
it
you're still
a bone.
frightened.
By what?
And
There's
then
nothing.
Scared of hellhounds and bone devils, dude.
I pick up the. I'm like, look, Andrew, it's just a
I kill
bone.
Moldrak.
Let's go, bud. Got 190 hit points left.
I have nothing.
Of it.
All right.
It's like
It's a better noise than the other one.
yeah.
All right. At that point, you start to press on again.
I'm gonna need a nap here shortly.
I'm gonna need a nap too. Oh, you're talking about it. Both.
Yeah, both.
You begin to travel, pushing forward. You can see heading towards you 2 people on horseback
Are we still
and
traveling?
probably 5 or 6 people who are on the by foot.
3 exhaustion almost.
Trying to get from that combat to the next combat.
I think it's
No.
6.
Oh, I am at 3. I'm going to sleep, man.
Are you?
Yeah, I'll go in somebody's backpack or
I
something.
could put you in the. Put you on my shoulders. Toss you in the bag of holding for a quick 10 minutes.
I can't. We aren't getting anywhere.
You
I'm
can-
walking 11 feet per turn.
You can see in the distance where Moldrak can carry you.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the distance,
If he's carrying me like a baby,
I have
do I
40.
get a?
where the smoke is,
Oh,
there is
actually, it's
fire
30,
just kind of
but
like
I'm not in
randomly
combat.
bursting outward. You see like these plumes of fire, and then, like I said, after about maybe hour of travel, approaching you, pretty on guard though, 2 people on horseback and probably about 5 or so walking on foot, approaching you. You can see the 2 individuals that are on horseback are kind of priest appearing individuals. Once they get closer, you can see that their attire is covered in both blood and ash and some burn marks to it. It's cut up, it's tore up. A lot of them have symbols of FEL that they are carrying. You can see 3.
I'm gonna remove this chair so nobody can come sit here.
3 or 4 of them are kind of paladins in heavy armor. They have a lot of wounds to them, but you can also see that they've been healed quite a bit and are starting to head kind of in your direction. Once they start to kind of approach the priests and priestesses along with the paladins, one of the female paladins kind of walking forward. She has her blade unsheathed. She's holding the shield kind of lax at her side, looking around. You can see, like I said, that they're covered in not only their own blood, but just blood that's caked on and dried. Some of the parts of the armor are just like slippery looking from the blood that's on there, and then the ash that's like sticking to it from blowing around in the breeze. They start to kind of walk up.
You alright?
We're alive. Barely, but alive.
Is there anyone still fighting up ahead?
If they are, there's not much left of them, I'm assuming. There's some that stayed to make sure that more got away. Us being the ones that got away. You hear one of the individuals on the back. We should be turning around and fighting. Won't do anybody any good if we're dead. We need to go tell them.
Man. Tell them what?
One of them, whoever's leading their charges. We need more here to stop him.
We
are more.
We came from an encampment a few hours back where they're fortifying and planning to make another stand, and barricades are being built and reinforcements are making their way there as we speak. You should head back there. They have supplies and probably some people to escort you if you need to get back to the north.
The priest up on the horse kind of gets down and is holding the horse at the reins. You can see her kind of sifting around at her belt while you guys are still communicating. The paladin in the front, you can see that she has like her hair pulled back, but it's all kind of frizzy on the sides and it's kind of fallen out and tangled over to the side. She's probably like a good 6 foot tall human woman. She's not like very muscular, but she has like a kind of athletic build. She kind of sets one of the blades in the ground that she's holding and leans on it, takes the shield and kind of clips it onto her belt to take a quick moment. We were on the outside of the temple when they came. The first 2 or 3 waves that pushed through were cut down almost immediately, but we weren't ready for everything else that came. We lost a good chunk of us in that first bit of attacks coming through, and they seemed to have had some sort of battle plan or what they were going to do, but it was halted. You could tell that whatever was coming out of that portal, it just seemed endless, but something stopped it. What's here now is, well, what's only here. There would have been much more, I'm sure of it. But we saw something come from where the portal is. A bright beam of light shone up and then fizzled out. I'm assuming wherever they were coming from, it was closed. We kept fighting, pushed them back for a moment, but then once the others caught up that came from the portal, there was nothing we could do. They completely blocked off the bridge. I don't know if we can even get across, so we started walking this way. I'm telling you, thousands upon thousands of them poured through. We killed probably a few hundred at best, but at least where we were. We came across a lot of people along the way that were hurt. We're pretty tapped out in the ways of any sort of healing. Yeah. But we got a glimpse of whoever's leading them. Ferocious, enormous creature. Powerful. Very powerful. And not in the ways of magic and fighting. Wielding a long blade and some sort of bright blue whip, I believe. The blade he wielded was engulfed in fire. I saw him with one cleave take out 4 of us. He just walked over the bodies like they were insects. You could tell he was leading the battle front and the charge.
They headed this way, do you know?
Right now, I think that probably only about a day's travel from, I'd say, the northern part of the redwoods that are outside of Honore. We're not too familiar with this area, so we don't really know where to go.
Okay, well, the encampment that I mentioned is going to be back in that direction about a few hours.
Going that way?
Oh, are we? I don't know. I think that's something we need to discuss. Do we turn around, wait for them to come to us and make a stand? Or do we keep pushing on and try to meet them while we're already exhausted and beat down?
Yeah, I don't know how much more help I'll be in this situation.
That's what I'm worried about. We need everybody to be at our best. The thing they're talking about, Zaxria, he's a demon prince, so it's not exactly something to take lightly. We've been going for the better part of 2 days now, so.
Yeah, I vote we go back and sleep.
All right. Well, let's, yeah. We can lead you back to the encampment.
Right.
And just kind of as I say that, I'm like looking out into the smoke, watching for more demons, running like what happened last time.
Mm-hmm.
Just on edge.
Everybody turns back around, being accompanied by these paladins and priests that you can see are definitely not doing well. The one priest walks over with the horse and kind of gestures, you can ride this if you want, and kind of leans the reins over towards you to give to Ander if he wants to be on the horse.
I'll summon Fido. And
Okay.
jump on him.
Alright. If there's anybody else, we've been on the horse for a while. You're more than welcome.
Do your paladins want to ride?
They all just kind of like shake their heads, and some of them don't even acknowledge that you offered. They just keep pushing forward.
Okay. Plus, Israel, who's the most used to riding a horse?
Sure, save mine for one day.
Yeah.
You jump up onto the back of the horse. You can tell the horse itself is also kind of beat down, tired. It's got a couple of little scrapes and stuff on it. You can see the hooves are a little tore up, and it still seems to be pretty obedient and moving forward. But nonetheless, you guys continue back towards the barricade. Once you get back, you can see that on the southern end of where the barricade is, once you cross over, as you're actually approaching, they don't really seem too ready, but you can hear like this, like, and then a couple of people like come over the berm and are holding bows, and then you can hear like some distant shouting to where they kind of mellow out. And then a couple of people are standing up as you guys are making your way over, and they take over some sort of like rope ladder and kind of just chuck it to make it easier to get up for some people, because it's just pretty much like this just steep berm that's leading up to where it is. So you can climb up it and walk up it, but some parts of it are easier to just climb with a ladder. Once you I'll call him there. Once you make your way up and over,
Incoming call. Get hit with dubstep over sitting here.
okay. Once you get up and over, you can see now the back end of where this barricade is, that they are starting to like kind of set up some tents. They're more just taking like branches that are along the sides, smacking them down, and throwing maybe like some sort of tarp or canopy or large canvas leather over it. You guys just kind of like shrug around and find somewhere to plop down where you can see a couple of other people doing so. And in these spots where these like makeshift tents are being put up, those that have rested are kind of getting up and moving over to take over for those that are still working and holding like a patrol. A couple of more times you hear the and see them jumping over. Maybe 3 or 4 times this happens throughout the night as you're trying to rest, and you see arrows kind of being let loose, and some of you get ready to kind of jump up, but realize that they're just like pretty much putting down some stragglers that are running up. And then a couple of these other times the horn goes off and it's just people that are making their way through and coming back up over the berm.
How far across is this like berm currently?
About 3 miles.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So there's like different. It's spread all the way across like this kind of choke point where the pond goes around. You can kind of see it. Chubb, are you able to grab this map off there? Just kind of pull down. It should slide out. I'll take that. So essentially, where this is set up is like right here. Like it's covering this area here. I can set all the way up across here.
I can only do 100-foot segments.
What are you gonna do?
Wall of stone.
And looking at it, it's definitely everybody is working in some sort of unison and trying to get the same goal, but it's very different kind of down the way. But wherever you are, you're not spending the time to walk, a mile or 2 miles down the way, because it's really not going to make much of a difference. Just kind of depends on where you want to be. If you want to be in the middle or the far left or west or far east, but you guys kind of came over on the east part and went to the back and saw some tents and areas where you could rest being set up and decided to do so. So those first few times that the horns go off, you guys all pretty much are jumping up, getting ready to go and fight what you're assuming is this, army coming. But you find out very quickly that they're just pretty much signaling that every time they see something approaching, and you hear it echoing down the way too, kind of more towards the west. But once you kind of rest your eyes and begin to try and find some sleep, so essentially everybody is going to be able to get the full rest, but you're not going to get the full benefit. So your exhaustion will go away.
Do you get rid of all your exhaustion, or just go down to 8 point?
All of it will go away. That's fine with me. Just get rid of all of it.
So I was sleeping 3 days if you didn't say that.
Okay, now don't fully redo your health yet, if you already didn't.
No, I did.
How far off is everybody from full?
I'm only like 16 down.
25.
Connor's at 40.
Okay, so if you are like within that 20 range, you're fine. You're just not going to regain health. But if you aren't, just make it till where you're within like 25 of your max. So for like Shalom, just make it to where he's within 25.
That's toxic.
And then for you just regain it to be within, how much are you off your max?
25.
25, so you're right where you should be. In regards to resources, you'll just get all those back. Your health is just not as...
Do we get half our hit die back too?
Yes. So however many you spent, you just get that half back.
Would I have had the time to recharge my amulet at all?
How long does it say?
8 hours.
Yeah, you would have had to forfeit a rest in order to do that because you're going to be sleeping essentially for 8 hours.
Okay.
You can attempt to do it when you wake up, but you're not sure if you'll have that much time.
I may as well start. Can I accumulate? Like, if I get, manage to get like an hour or two done, can I mark that?
How many charges does it have?
It's 5 charges, and it doesn't say, a specific amount of time. It just says after 8 hours, spend charges are regained.
Mm-hmm. And you spent how many?
I have currently spent all 5. I spent
Okay.
2 on Anders' resistance, and then I spent 3 on the
those
stasis. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, however much you put back into it, we'll just kind of, I guess, I'm trying to think of if it'd be better for you to just have it banked up or get a charge back. So like however much time you spend, just take it off of whatever you'd have to spend later on is what we'll get
That's
at.
what I was thinking.
Yeah. Okay, so as you guys kind of get up, your rest did not go over very well. Very uncomfortable. Like even though you're pretty accustomed to not being in the most comfortable circumstances, it's that on top of how badly it just kind of beat up everybody was, and just kind of drained physically and mentally. The air quality itself is not the greatest. The smoke kind of rolling through every now and then. This berm actually seems to be preventing a lot of it from coming down from the north and rolling down this way. And the wind has kind of shifted up to where it's blowing kind of like a western wind, and it's kind of rolling around and blowing off of the actual landmass towards the east. You guys find yourselves kind of standing around for a moment. The universal word that you have kind of been hearing amongst everybody is that they're pretty much just fortifying here and waiting for reinforcements from the south and trying to just hold back whatever's coming from the north as long as they possibly can. So whatever you want to do with that is up to you. If you're just waiting for something to happen, or if there's any preparation stuff you want to do, now would be the time. And you honestly really don't know how much time it is that you actually have.
Can I go back to last night for a moment?
Mm-hmm.
It just because I don't know, it might not do much, but I may as well spend my 5th level spell slot here. So I want to just double check something real quick.
So the first day that you came through, hold on, I've got it written down in this little. The 26th you came in.
Okay, I could do this thing. That's
Yeah, I've got.
I don't know. I
I've
feel
got
like this
20. You
might
said
end up being
26,
more
right? When
helpful
you guys
than the
came
wall of
into
stone, but
Benore, right?
I could either do my enhancement of defense, which
So you traveled
lasts
for
24
a full
hours and gives
day's
somebody
worth.
resistance to slashing, piercing, bludgeoning, and +2 AC. Or I could do the 200-foot wall of stone.
How big is the wall of stone?
So
They're
it's actually just going to be
10
the
foot tall
27th,
by 20-foot
because
panels.
it wasn't like I
10
don't think it
of
was
them, so
days.
it's
Or no, it
200
was.
feet.
So 28th. Yep, when you wake up.
Yeah, but he said it was 3 miles. It would keep a
They
good
just
portion
walk.
out of our camp, but like
If
they
you
would
didn't
just
sleep, you
pour
wouldn't
around
roll.
it. I don't
Yeah.
know.
So just like use whatever.
3-3.
But I can do this for
Um,
anybody who's not wearing
Just do a final roll then.
full plate,
2 and
half
3 and
plate, or
3.
a shield. Because it's just one person. But
What?
You're good.
I can give my enhancement.
You don't have
my
armor
enhancement-
on.
I know.
Just take it.
But I already have resistance to bludgeoning.
Oh.
piercing,
Yeah.
slashing.
It might be
Yes,
more worth it for
28.
somebody else.
Can you put it on yourself?
I can't. I have a shield and I have full plate.
Oh.
I would have to ask Billy. My enhancement of defense.
Mhm.
It says you strengthen a piece of armor you see within range. Connor doesn't really wear armor. Could I do it to his robes, or does it have to be armor?
You can do it to the roll.
Okay, I'm gonna cast. So I pull
Or for Azrael, though.
What kind of armor do you have?
Never
Okay,
mind.
you can't do it.
I think I also have half plate on. Or leather. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. It's not half plate.
I can do it to you.
Studded leather. That's what it was. Maybe Chelonia.
What's this? It might be good to
Somewhat.
keep
It's like an
alive.
expertise standard. You know what I'm saying?
No offense to him. Just
I mean, it's 17. It's not terrible.
It's got lower than me.
what does it do?
It gives you +2 AC and resistance to slashing, piercing, and bludgeoning for 24 hours.
Unless I get hunted again, I should be fine.
I don't know. I guess it's either
Billy,
counter or Chelonia.
Billy's really trying to kill me, though, so
Yeah.
could be a chance.
I think if he really wanted you dead, he would have found a way to overcome your ice cube. So.
No, I don't. I don't think he could.
I don't know. Chelonia's got no healing, so I'm gonna do it on Connor. Alright, so yeah, I'll do Enhancement of Defense as like a ritual that takes a minute.
How long does that last?
24 hours.
Is it concentration? I'm assuming not because it's 24 hours.
No. Now, does that mean I don't need to use the spell slot if it's a ritual?
I think you still use the spell slot, but you
Okay.
just don't use any of the.
It doesn't matter, though, right? If you're
Ingredients.
gonna just sleep after.
Yeah, it doesn't really
Did you do
matter,
it the
but
night
just for
before?
future.
Well, no, I could
purposes.
do, if it didn't use the spell slot, I could also do the Wall of Stone, which is not a
Oh.
ritual.
True.
Oh, that's concentration and it lasts 10 minutes, I guess. It's not.
Well,
But that doesn't make sense though, because it's like it's a non-magical structure, so does it just vanish after 10 minutes? Like,
Crumble, maybe?
oh, if you maintain concentration for the whole duration, the wall becomes permanent and can't be dispelled.
Oh, that's kind of sick.
how much time we got?
Let's just spend a year you building the
Well,
wall.
this only takes, if I can cast it as a ritual, it would take 10 minutes instead of 1 minute. And I would have used this the night before, so
Give me 1 second.
yeah, just let me
You wake up.
Well, an Enhancement of Defense is the ritual. Wall of Stone is
Go
a
back to sleep
cast.
right out. Wake up.
Unless it like almost 3 walls a day. Easy.
It does not expend a spell slot.
Okay, so can I do both then?
Oh, hold on.
Oh,
To cast a spell as a ritual, a spellcaster must have a feature that grants the ability to do so.
Oh,
The
okay.
cleric and the druid, for example, have such a feature. Caster must also have the spell prepared.
You didn't give the shaman the feature?
It might be on there. I don't know.
Patch notes right now.
I know. What
Shaman
is
can ritual
the
cast.
what is the
Topics.
feature? Is it like part of their spell casting?
Yeah, I think that's what it is.
Okay, I've definitely ritual cast spells in the past.
Yeah.
But I will. Look.
Don't scam Billy.
Yeah, it says ritual casting. You can cast a druid spell as a ritual if that spell has a ritual tag and you have the spell prepared. Do tags on there have the ritual spell? That's what it would be. I don't know if I had any of them on there.
Well,
Ritual.
Uh,
Wall of Stone is?
no. Enhancement of Defense is ritual.
It does?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. I'd
How
say
long does
that
it
you would
take to
have
cast
ritual
that?
casting.
Okay. What?
How long does it take to cast?
10 minutes, but again,
Fucker.
so I'm gonna do 2 things before we go to bed.
What
Then
if
I'm
you
gonna.
just did it to all of us.
Oh, I guess I could because it's not concentration. It'd take me like the better part of an. Well, I can only do it to people who don't have armor on.
I guess that's true. I'll take my armor off. Actually, no. I'm
Okay.
good. You could
Um,
actually do it to me.
okay.
24 hours.
I gotta spend a gem worth 100 gold each time.
Ooh, we're kind of poor though, so.
No, we have a barrel full of gems, so I'm pretty sure I would probably expend most of the barrel, but where's it at? 'Cause I think I had an exact.
I know where there's a lot of gold if we need it, so.
Yeah, okay, we gotta fight those creatures.
We just bring fire. It's
Oh.
fine.
Okay. Oh yeah, it's 5,000 worth of gems. So
We can get another bag full of your
I'm
shit.
good.
Scoop it up in there.
What?
The fake gold.
Oh, yeah. Great idea. Not the pirates, but...
Oh wait, that place like collapsed, didn't it?
No, there's just monsters all over the place. But they're scared of white, so it's Freela.
No, I was talking about the.
Okay, well if you'll let me then,
Oh, yeah,
Billy,
yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna. I have to spend 300 gold worth of gems, which we do have. But I could ritual cast it on Chelonia, on Zarvrax, and on Leander.
It'll take you like a half hour to do all that.
Yeah, 10. I think 11 minutes each. So if you want to make me roll like another exhaustion check or something.
I mean, I'd say you could just do it, to be honest, because
Okay.
you're spending the time too.
So plus 2 AC?
Yeah, plus 2 AC. It's for 24 hours, and then resistance to. Oh, I guess I could lump
Oh, imagine having half
Connor
plate.
in there too.
Yikes.
Mark the gold off.
He said something like getting like triple damage or something, so I think he cheated anyways.
And then what I actually wanted to spend my 5th level spell slot on. Whoops. Gems, we are down.
I'm not gonna remember what the fuck this says.
If this area is where we're kind of going to be holding out, I'm going to make my way over to the section that we currently have of this. I don't know what you called it. It's like a hill or whatever.
Yeah, it's like a big berm.
Okay. And then I'm going to close my eyes and focus, and you can kind of feel the earth begin to rumble, and springing up in a 200-foot line in either direction of me is a wall of stone that goes 10 feet high. It's like 3 inches thick and 200 feet wide.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put like little like battlements in it. It says you can create like crude so that like archers can like hide behind it and hopefully let them have some cover and like tactical advantage against a horde running at us.
Well, your archers can shoot like through it.
Yeah, it's like a battlement. Like you hide behind it and then you peek around and fire.
I don't even need to do that. Peeking around's for pussies.
Yeah. That's all I want. I just wanted to use my resources when I could. So now I rest.
Connor sets up fireball traps.
Oh shit!
Hey, last time somebody was doing that, they broke
You
the
can
chair.
kind of do shit like that. You can set up like
What does that
wards, like glyphs.
Yeah.
It'll explode.
You
when shit
remember when I
comes into
broke that
contact with
fucking
it.
chair? The leg was like this.
What did I write?
I did.
Oh.
I busted my ass, so the chair's fucking. The leg's like this. They were metal chairs, though, so I think you're.
Didn't that happen to Shaddy too?
Oh, I think it did.
When we were up at your house? Or was it Jared that broke it? I think you broke two.
I didn't break two.
You might have broke two.
I think one of the chairs had a lean on it, but I don't remember how
Yeah.
it happened.
All right. Anyways,
Why'd you say Shaddy broke it,
you
huh?
guys,
That's rude, dude.
because I'm pretty sure that happened. It was
Just
either him or Brian. Anyways, you guys begin to start to prepare as best you can behind this wall, as well as the berm itself.
See me get nervous, dude.
There's probably only like a good 2 or so hours that pass, but it feels like an entire day. You're just kind of like looking out at this pretty much field that is in front of you. There's a few trees every now and then, but there is this still quiet that kind of sits amongst everybody. The waiting continues for another 2 or so hours. Just looking amongst yourselves, trying to pass the time while also being very militant and kind of on edge, looking around you.
Oh yeah.
Fucking see some dragon steak.
Passing some out to the elves here.
Don't feed
You
them.
guys kind of eat.
We want him to play with us.
After
Give 'em
eating
bread.
and speaking amongst everybody and looking out, there's this brief bit of time where the smoke kind of clears, and then you're looking out to this just large open field, like I said, with random kind of trees poking up through it. You're sitting around looking, you see a single kind of stone kind of roll off of the wall that you have built, and then you kind of look again and you're looking at the wall. You kind of put your hand on it and feel, and it has like a little bit more of a vibration to it than the soft ground beneath you, like it's just holding more reverberation. As you're sitting here with your hand on it, you start to look out and can see smoke that's like slowly rolling from the south, even though the wind is kind of going to the east with a kind of west wind. As you're looking, you can see this line, this silhouetted line of kind of misshapen and different sized silhouettes rolling in your direction. The silhouettes that are rolling up get to probably a good 200, maybe 300 or so yards. All of the horns you can hear going down the way, and as you're looking down the way, you can see a pretty decent sized line of these creatures' silhouettes. It doesn't extend the full 3 miles or anything, but it's a decent kind of chunk to where you can kind of see one end to the other, but you're having to kind of look down the whole way. Where they're approaching from, you're actually pretty centered on the middle of where it is. You can see all of these creatures. As I said, they start slowly approaching. The horns are kind of bellowing and going off. People are running around up and down the berm, grabbing arrows. Some of them are climbing up the wall. There are some trees that have kind of been slammed into this berm and earth built up around them that have a bunch of branches leaning off of them that the elves have kind of perched themselves up on and are pulling arrows back. You can see the tree ants reaching down into the ground, pulling up huge stones and just kind of like rocking their hand back, getting ready to launch it. There are people from the back where you can see now. There are a couple of tree ants that are kind of over towards the sides that you noticed earlier were kind of digging out in the middle part where they're making these like tunnels underneath to be able to like go through, where they have set up like a rock or something on the other side, and they're just like sitting there waiting to put their hand through and push to let out the elves that are sitting here. You can hear some people yelling down the line, and it kind of travels through. We don't let them reach the berm. We fight them in the field. Once they break past here, all that stands between us, well, it's trees, and then they're at Venore. We hold this place. They do not pass. Understood? Everyone starts shouting, for Venore! Everyone's raising their arrow, their bows, their blades. The silhouette in the distance starts to kind of slowly become more clear as they approach more and more, to where at this point they're probably, like I said, a good 200 yards. And it looked like they were still kind of just slowly moving forward with the smoke, and then it gets to a point where they just stop and are not moving anymore.
They're scared.
Looking out, you can hear a couple of people every now and then. What are they doing? What are they waiting for? A couple of them you can see are kind of antsy. You can hear like footsteps on the wood kind of clacking as they're tapping their toes, waiting around.
Be patient. They're trying to draw us out.
You hear the arrow kind of like being pulled, like knocked back, waiting. You hear the feet tapping. You're looking around. Everyone's heads are kind of going side to side, back to the front. Eyes are wide. You can feel your heart beating in your chest. You can see the tension between everybody. The silhouette in the distance, you watch it kind of open up a little bit in the middle before you start to see a silhouette break out from the center part of it.
It's me.
So
It's like, damn, he's grabbing Moldrack?
Yeah, I've been
me
the
make
villain the
this.
whole time.
One time he's gone.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
And then he's like, Brian, come in.
You were our friend. You were chosen.
What you thought?
You were my father, Moldrack.
Joining the Sith.
How could you do this?
Sick. Okay.
You're out in the field?
All right, buddy. Good one.
Sick.
He goes out there, he'll just get frightened and
It's like, oh, how did I get out here? Oh, I'm back over there.
At least when I get frightened, I can still hit people. So
Yeah.
All right. Standing here, as I said, you see it split open a little bit, and then starting to approach the berm itself. You see a taller, large, winged, demonic creature approaching. You can't really make out too many of the features besides the silhouette. You see the large wings that are kind of curled over. You can see the hands down at the sides. One of the hands has what looks to be like a curled up whip of some sort, and the other hand is rested on a hilt at the waist, where you can see a very, very large bladed weapon. Walking forward, you also see these two horns kind of protruding from the head itself, a kind of longer face. You can see almost like a mane coming off the back in a way. The legs themselves are very strong and sturdy. There is some sort of long sash coming across the front that seems to be like of a chain or metallic type of material. And then the sash itself at the bottom part is flowing in kind of tattered cloth. Stepping forward, you see standing in front of you.
Who is it?
uh-oh, SpaghettiOs.
Bob SpaghettiOs.
I thought he had a blue whip.
It is a blue one.
Reversed. What I said is reversed from what he has, but what I said is what he has. Does that make sense?
No.
So what you said is reverse of what he has,
That's what I got out of
but
that.
that's the
He
mini.
has a flame sword ice whip. That's all you gotta know. He's holding the blade at his side,
He has an ice sword and a
the
flame
whip in his hand, stepping forward. Not really like stepping in a way
it would
where
have
he
to get
is
cold.
hesitant. He just kind of like
Terrified.
stomps up, holding the blade at his side, a little bit lax, as if he feels he's won already,
Sorry.
the way he's carrying himself. Okay. Is this where everybody wants to kind of be? The tunnel that lets out is underneath this, or not underneath this, it's over here in between the tree and this, so this is like the tunnel that'll be letting out to like open up and meet them in the field. So whoever is like going to be running out would want to be here.
You can move me over there.
You don't want to run out? Shouldn't have
Just
wait.
look up a spell real quick.
The creature stepping forward, who you believe to be Zaxria, you hear him speak with that low bellowing voice, and it sounds familiar. Not to the one that you were hearing saying to pretty much sending the hounds, but the voice that was kind of just roaring in the background. Who leads you mortals? You hear his voice echo out. Like all of the elves on the wall are looking back and forth.
I'm terrified. I'll try to get up here. Andrew, I'll try to say something.
I guess step up on that. I'm gonna pull my friends over there with me. I'll go step up to where Andrew is.
Andrew, do you want to be down here?
No, you're staying up there.
Oh, I'm staying up there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll just step up and wait for him to
The moment when
say something.
Andrew realized he was the co-captain all along.
As you
I
step
don't
up,
know if anyone else was going to step up. I don't know.
is anybody else stepping up with Moldrak? No? Just Moldrak and Andrew?
Jeez.
You just headshot him and it's over.
I wish I knew what this spell did. I don't. He doesn't have it. I thought he had 3 things of the compendium, but
He does.
I only have 2 here. I don't know where the 3rd one is. Yeah, I don't. Because I wanted to know what the spell Sunburst did, but it's not.
I think Sunburst might actually
Blows
be
up the sun.
It's not in the book. You'll have time to prepare and
Okay.
do stuff, so don't
All right.
worry about it too much. Once you step up, Andrew, you're kind of at this point right now where it's like I'm sick and tired of feeling afraid. Even after this huge creature starts walking up, you're kind of like just in this spot where you feel like you have to not really prove yourself, but prove to yourself at least that you can do this. Try to take a breath, stand right next to Moldrak. Son of a...
Stand next to Modrak, get a phone call.
Hang on.
Stand,
I can't talk
right now.
Oh, I said I'd do that when I get home. God.
I didn't even print here. Leave me alone.
In a meeting.
You get to your meeting.
So it's you that leads these weaklings then?
Is he waiting for a response?
Seems like it.
I'll play him, don't say anything.
The greatest fools are those who assume they've already won.
I'm sure you're assuming the same.
We will see.
I'll give you one last chance now. Send forth 1,000 of yours as sacrifice to Brelnax and the Culling, and the rest of you will be spared as slaves for the New World Order.
Kind of a sick deal.
How wide is like the silhouette line of people behind him? Is it just like as far as we can see?
It's within like sight for the whole thing of it.
Okay.
You can see like it's hard to really make out everything that's there, but some of the shapes are familiar. Like you can see bone demons and blood demons, plague bearers, some of those demon guards. It just seems to be a mix of those four, including. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna be wrapping up here in a second anyway, so. Yeah. About.
I'm not going to say anything. I just kind of look back to Connor, and he's going to, I don't know what. I gotta look at his staff thing real quick, but he's going to cast a spell. Let me just, with the overcharge, is there like a negative side effect to that?
No.
No?
He just uses an action to charge it up.
Okay. Last round, he would have been charging it.
Okay.
This round, he's going to cast an overcharged transmuted to cold meteor swarm.
All right, just right on
us.
One would be dropping down like just behind him, kind of on his back, and then the other one is just like laying waste to the line of demons behind him.
Okay.
Is he close enough that the one that drops on him would hit demons behind him? No. Okay.
Okay, so
Yeah, they're big.
I'm
40
trying to
foot,
save.
40 foot radius, so 80 foot diameter spheres.
What kind of save?
It is a dexterity saving throw.
Okay, so he gets a 13.
Okay, that's a fail.
Sick.
So he takes 20d6 cold and 20d6 bludgeoning,
Right.
as well as all of the line of demons that
We'll roll that when Connor's back, but just to start this all off,
I just kind
Connor-
of look
yeah.
back and I'm like,
Connor just seems ready to go for it, and then after being just disrespected like that, he just gets ready, throws the staff up. You watch this huge, kind of almost looking to appear to be like snow starting to form before it all starts to just slowly drop down. And it's not like slamming down, it's just these huge rocks that are slowly falling, and then as they hit the ground, they're so dense, they just start to break and splinter off. All of this kind of ice is breaking everywhere. You can hear the demons in the back that are just kind of getting thrown around, and the ice that slams down onto them. The area where he gets hit, kind of in the center almost, where there's just ice and everything and debris breaking everywhere. There's smoke that kind of gets kicked up, dirt and dust and ash is blown up as well. And then there's this kind of brief 30-second bit of calm to where you can start to see everything. And you just see him kind of duck down with the wings there. And then as he stands up and the wings kind of curl backwards, ice starts to fall off of him. He takes the blade, points it forward. No mercy. Every mortal dies. And then he throws his blade forward. As he does, you start to hear like all of these screeches and yells and screams from all of the demons charging forward. The wall starts to shake even more. You hear the elves kind of like looking around. And
Fire!
Then they just start to shoot a bunch of arrows. The treant pushes open to where you can see on the sides. Underneath, all of the elves start charging out. All of the demons start meeting them. And then there's this point where you guys are getting ready to go out. Before, like you're not like in the very front, but everything is just prepared to start going out, and then they start meeting and clashing, and you're maybe a few paces behind that for those of you that start to charge out. You probably even just like jumping off the top.
Yeah.
But as they start to clash and meet, you see Drexir just turns around and starts to take like a few steps away to where he gets towards the back and just kind of like turns, and then you can see these two very, very large, kind of just meaty flesh golems that are carrying this huge chair that they just like plop down.
This guy, man.
And then he just like sits down in the chair as demons are like running around the sides of it and just plops down as all of the fighting begins to occur. You can see blood is being splashed already, clanking is occurring, screams are being let out. There's arrows flying from each direction, fires bursting, and then you see these stones being chucked from the treants at the demons, and it just like crushes a few of them, but there's just like 50 more behind where that came from, and they start to meet. And then you guys, once you're in the fray of it, like you start to feel the adrenaline kick in as you get ready to enter the fray and the battle for Venore. Okay, with that, we're going to pick it up next time. We appreciate you watching. If you are, make sure you are following and subscribing to get put in for the giveaway. Thank you. Take it easy.